Good afternoon, everybody. This is Unity News Network, brought to you by Delivery. No, it's not. It's unprecedented TV. Welcome. But you know what? I'm just not in a good mood today, guys. I'll be honest with you. And I don't think I'm going to hold anything back today, to be honest. I've had a right crappy day today so far. I was even considering not even doing this show. But I hope everybody's okay. I hope we're all having a better day than me anyway. Carl Meds, enter name here. Welcome people that are coming on via currently live streaming from Unprecedented TV's YouTube and X, as well as Delivering Liberty's YouTube and Sharon the Baroness's X account as well. Hope most are again having a good day. We're going to have a guest on later. As you can see here, Abi Roberts is going to be coming on to discuss her new book. I saw Abi on Unity News Network last night. And we're going to go through a few things. You know what I'm a bit pissed off, guys, is because we continue, as in the country, or not just the country, just the Western society in general. Although it is getting somewhat better, but it's the continuation of us repeating the same thing. We're constantly caught in this repeating trap where we never seem to really move on. We don't move on, do we, really? We don't really have anything. We haven't really advanced as a society since really the 1960s. We don't really have any kind of new... We have new software. We have new kind of, things that make our lives a bit more leisurely and simple and convenient, like Uber Eats and constantly unlimited streaming platforms. And it's just, and more. It's basically just convenience and distraction. But when it comes to anything like to advance human nature, there's nothing. We haven't gone beyond. We have everything we need. So, what makes me laugh? You look at all of those old shows in the 1960s and 50s and whatever, and they generally believed that by the year 2000, we would have flying cars. We'd have the Jetson kind of society. And unfortunately, all we get now is a slightly better improved vehicle or whatever to something that already exists. We don't really have anything new. We're sort of caught in this stagnated society, and that's mostly due to like the whole high taxation, the high regulation, the high government control that we have. And I see in America is that what I think is happening now. I just popped on. I only go on Twitter for this show, guys. I can't stand Twitter now. I just, people think people think, oh, when Elon Musk took over, everything's going to get better. And it's like, well, nothing's actually got better. It's just that now it's the other side's turn to basically steer the ship, if you get what I mean. Nothing has actually improved at all. So straight away, so I keep off it. What's he said here? Ben Shapiro sums up it's actually quite mad. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, and the other, how can I say it? The fake MAGA, because the sad reality is MAGA, which may I remind people stands for Make America Great Again, has been totally usurped. Or was it always like this? And it's just become another kind of conservative / Republican Inc. sort of kind of environment. It's basically a war. MAGA is basically the only people left in MAGA now are just brain dead cultists, dogmatic cultists that just lap up anything that Trump says or J.D. Vance says, or any of these people, and it's become just this cult echo chamber. Really quite sad and pathetic. And you've got these dual nationalist, dual citizen individuals like Ben Shapiro, like Mark Levin, and many others trying to lecture the American people and the Western people in general of what make America great again is. These dual citizens who have really only, I mean, I'm not being funny, but there's Ben Shapiro wearing what is it? I've got the name of the little hats now. Kip Harp, no, UKIP, whatever it's called. He's there wearing that on, what is this? On Trigonometry, another group of shills, Constant Kissing, and the other one, whatever his name is. And they're lecturing people what MAGA is and it's revealed these people is that these people like Shapiro or like Mark Levin, they never cared about freedom of speech. They never cared about these values. The mask has finally fallen off these individuals, and it has revealed what many of us, including myself, have been saying for years, is that these people are not on your side. These people are fake patriots. They're not patriots at all, but they garb themselves. They talk about American values all the time, and they're not at all on your side. And they only care. Their mentality is what's good for the Jewish people. That's all their mentality is. What's good for Israel and what's good for just Jewish culture in general. Everything else takes a back seat, including America. What's this says? Ben Shapiro sums up why his brand of conservatism is dying fast and why the populist left will steamroll any Republican parroting Shapiro's view. If you're a young person, what's he said here? What's he actually said? I'm not even seeing this. If you're a young person and can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here, he says to naive New Yorkers. Well, why doesn't people like Ben Shapiro, if they don't feel comfortable with Mark Levin, if they don't feel comfortable in America, then why don't they go to the other country that they have dual citizenry with? That you could easily just flip that back on him. What Sargoy of A Cringe said, he said, you deserve to live where you grew up is a pragmatic worldview in Shapiro's estimation, which is pretty wild. These people are really showing who they are. Mark Levin has gone absolutely psychotic. They're trying to counsel anyone that is talking about Israel now. We must rid our movement of the fascists. Subscribe to the Mark Levin show. Who listens to the Mark Levin show? Well, this guy is the most popular. Him and Shapiro, people like Dave Rubin and all that. They have the most popular TV shows. I remember seeing a statistic one even with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's highest guest per capita in terms of their ethnicity are again Jewish people. And it sort of does make you think, for a group of people who represent such a small minority, one of the smallest minorities in all of America, they sure do have a very big reach, in terms of getting on shows like, obviously, Joe Rogan's the #1 podcast in the world. At least it was. Is it still to this day? I don't know. I don't listen to Joe Rogan anymore either. And it's very much a mask off moment where they're showing that they had no interest in MAGA. MAGA's just become basically neoconservatism, Republican Inc. Like neoconservatism can be summed up. It's simply a war hawk, pro-war, pro-Israel group of individuals masquerading as American patriots. Pro-war, pro-Israel. That's all they are. That's all neoconservatism is. It was the whole philosophy of neoconservatism was created by Jewish individuals again. People who Jewish Americans basically, who essentially created it. And it's all part of that Republican Inc. sort of show. So that's all MAGA is. Trump's totally become part of that thing. What's this? Ashley Stars. Excuse me. GB News is even worse. If only the NPC knew it is Bill Gates. Yeah. GB News is funded by Legatum, which is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's a lot of people don't really quite understand that. So you're seeing this. What did I see as well? I saw a couple of academic agent. I'm glad he's starting to notice. The thing is, though, what's going on is right. You see, this is me. You want to hear a conspiracy? This is going down to conspiracy stuff, right? I have never trusted Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes. I always found Nick Fuentes too twerpy, a little bit immature. Apparently, has never been with a woman, which is, not a massive dig, but I do question that's a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? And especially him being either he's lying or there's something really seriously wrong with that. I just don't believe he's voluntarily choosing an act of celibacy. There's something I think is quite wrong with that. The whole thing with Tucker Carlson is, as I've said here, it seems as though obviously people are starting to notice, they're starting to pick up on the very big influence that Israel has upon the West. And in my opinion, that is the number one issue in the West. It isn't Islam, because Islam comes off the back of this Israel stuff. It's Islam is the broom of Israel. It's funny, actually, I put a tweet up. I think I briefly went on Twitter, I think 2 days ago, just to edit a video, and I thought, as I'm here, I'll just go on Twitter or whatever. And I saw straight away that Mark Levin again had said something about Tucker being a Nazi or something like that, and it got quite a lot of likes. And basically, Tucker, what did Tucker say? Let's see if my sound's on. Where is it? Is my sound on? Yeah, it looks like it's on. Let's put this on. What's Tucker said? Tucker Carlson believes the US. I'll tell you in a minute what I think of Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson believes the US government is working with demons.
It's like some ethereal. They're not just.
They're working with demons, and I said, yeah, they're called Israelis. It got quite a lot of likes. He said, yeah, the US government are working with demons. Yeah, they're called Israelis. And I put up the quote from, and keep in mind, you go, oh, this is just extremists. This is just like their version of Abu Hamza or something like that. So like a religious extremist rabbi in this case, right? This is not an uncommon thought in Israel. This is quite at least borderline mainstream at the bare minimum. This is what someone called Rabbi David, is it Tulwi or something? It says the Jewish Messiah will only appear once Europe and Christianity is totally destroyed. So I ask you, is it good news that Islam invades Europe? It is excellent news. Islam is the broom of Israel. Because and I'm going to keep saying this because it is starting to catch on, is that Israel, with the support of the UK and USA military, this is why I have absolutely no respect for the UK military at all. I don't care about Remembrance Day. I just don't care. Again, another hangover from why we're stagnated and why we can't move on. We've got things that happened 80 years ago, and even World War I and World War II, if you were to ask any kind of normie on the street, any average person on the street, what is the main thing? What is the main theme that you get from? Will they remember the tens of millions? How many tens of millions British soldiers died? Will they remember how many hundreds of millions of Russian soldiers were killed, or Germans, or various other nations' armies, soldiers, anything like that? What is the number that they take from it? They will always say 6 million on one particular ethnic group. That is really the only thing that World War II is remembered for. It's just remembered. It's been how can I say it? It's been totally captured. Even the Holocaust, right? Where there has been many Holocausts throughout the centuries, many. But this one specifically, oh, you can see whenever anyone says holiday, it's been totally monopolized to only remember to one thing. No one ever talks about, oh, what holocaust? No one ever goes, what Holocaust? They always think of one thing, and they always remember that particular number. They don't remember anyone else. That's what our education system has been drummed. And you know what's funny as well? I saw that Ghislaine Maxwell, her sister, was in charge of basically, essentially editing all of the US history books. So that's one of her jobs. And if you were looking into the history of the whole Maxwell family, you've got these group of people that have Robert Maxwell. They were basically recruited. This is why I don't trust Tucker as well, because Tucker's dad was instrumental in Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA and Mossad, because they're basically the same. If you understand the history of CIA and Mossad, they were basically created at roughly the same time. They have overlapping of people in it. They're basically the same organization. CIA and Mossad are essentially the same. You have Operation Mockingbird was basically used to infiltrate all of the mainstream media in America. And many people think it's a past thing, where at some point the operation just simply ended and the intelligence services and the US state just simply went, oh, we're going to give back the media now to all of the non-infiltrated journalists that aren't agents of the CIA and Mossad. We're just going to give it back. That never happened. It continued. It continues to this day. That's why and it happens in this country. You had Robert Maxwell, who was an editor of many mainstream media rags. And I'm not saying that literally every journalist in this country is some kind of security asset. They're not, because that would just be mathematically just impossible. But you only need certain people in key positions. Like Robert Maxwell was an editor in some of those rags, and they then decide what is published. See what I mean? So they control the information. It's Ministry of Truth stuff. They decide what is going on. I think people like Mariana Spring, for example, of BBC Verify, I think that she is some kind of security asset. You have to start seeing all of these people, and I think it evolves then into YouTubers, because of course it would. That's the natural progression of it. If YouTube is starting to become the number one media source for many people, then of course the intelligence services are going to make incursions into that particular industry. So there's probably a lot of people. You see Tucker Carlson now. He's obviously got his own YouTube kind of platform. I think Tucker Carlson is part of that intelligence community. His dad was in it. His son, Tucker's son, works with Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance. Peter Thiel is made most of his money really from exclusively contracting with the CIA and Mossad. You see, J.D. Vance, a guy whose whole, in my opinion, his whole backstory is a fictitious story. It's made up. It's then produced for Netflix, a book that's then adapted into a Netflix show. Totally reinvents himself. Only years ago, he was a never Trumper. He was calling Trump Hitler and all of this sort of stuff. And now he's the vice president and probably will be the next president. And that will be the technocracy president. Technically, you can say Trump is the first technocracy president, really. But he's sort of like he's like half baked, but J.D. Vance will be the full ticket. So what I think is going on with the conversation at the moment in America is that Tucker Carlson is trying to basically take over the conversation about people noticing. And he's being made into the bad guy. And you see Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro and various others attacking Tucker Carlson at the moment. And it's him trying to basically steer people. Once Tucker fully controls the conversation, I think maybe Nick Fuentes was brought in to perhaps almost pass the baton, like as a metaphor to Tucker, so then he can take over the greater conversation and then eventually steer it into a direction that is, I don't know, that doesn't lead to more. It's basically damage control. That doesn't lead to more damage to the basic like Zionist control pattern. I don't know. And it's their way of trying to basically, again, steer the conversation into a certain way. Nick Fuentes has clearly been brought in from the cold, and I think that's how he's been quite a useful, not a useful idiot. He's certainly not an idiot, Nick Fuentes, but certainly untrustworthy anyway. But he's definitely been a useful pawn, because at the end of the day, if they truly want Nick Fuentes gone, they can just easily just take him out. They can just ban his show. His show is mostly streamed from Rumble. The biggest donors, or I think the biggest startup people of Rumble, is JD Vance, is Dan Bonjero of the deputy FBI director. Let's see it actually. Who are the main people of Rumble? I think Peter Thiel's got a bit of money in it, and it seems as though Rumble. I've never trusted Rumble. I don't like Rumble. It's too corporate slick for my liking, and it seems as though all of the alternative people are going to it because obviously it's the most. It's the second best one after YouTube, without a doubt. I've always preferred Odyssey personally, but Odyssey just doesn't have. It's just not as good as Rumble in terms of streaming qualities, unless people know about it. Let's see, Rumble. How can I say this? Who are the biggest of Rumble? Let's see. I don't know if I'm asking the right question here. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. I see Abby's in the. I'm going to have you on, Abby, shortly. Let's see. Let's see. Biggest down. Key investments in Rumble are Tether Operations. Okay, Tether, yeah, I heard of them. Number 2 is Nara Capital. Background co-founded by JD Vance, author of Hillbilly Elegy and U.S. Senator of Ohio. Number 3, Peter Thiel, investment. Prominent conservative venture capitalist, co-founder of PayPal, and early investor in Pay. This is where the whole theory about Facebook was created by the CIA. This is where this comes from, because Peter Thiel again was the early investor in Facebook. And basically, if you think about Facebook, is that what we do on Facebook is that it is basically a kind of permanent record in a way. If people have Facebook. And they tell on Facebook, people take pictures of themselves. They say, "Oh, I'm checking into this hotel or whatever, or I'm in this particular country on holiday," and you tell Facebook everything. The state isn't doing the spying. You're essentially spying for you're spying on yourself, put it on Facebook, and then basically the state security services just know everything about you. Because you do your own spying on yourself. That's essentially where that rumor has come from. That basically CIA was Facebook was essentially a CIA creation. Early investor in Facebook and Palantir. The involvement signaled a major shift in Rumble's trajectory towards becoming a platform for free speech advocacy. You see, if they truly, Nick Fuentes speaks about Peter Thiel and JD Vance and various other people all the time. What's this? Cult Ventures background led by Darren Blanton, a former advisor to Donald Trump. I saw Dan Bongino is also he's got some kind of involvement in it as well. So it's like, if they truly wanted Fuentes gone, they would just simply kick him off. They know where he lives, because he's made that quite publicly clear where he lives in Chicago. they would just basically knock him off. So he is being used, I think. He's been brought in. Maybe there's been promises made to him. I don't know. Hey, Nick, because he has changed his rhetoric a bit and he's toned down a little bit. Maybe there has been some kind of deal where, hey, we'll let you into the Republican Party one day. We'll make you a senator or a congressman. I don't know. Maybe something like that. People have egos. I know so many people who have egos, and unfortunately, it's a great weakness to them, and they can be exploited in that way. Or maybe it's nothing at all. Maybe they haven't promised him anything. They've just worked him out. They've psychologically profiled him. They know what his weaknesses are, and they've basically brought him in from the cold, then to go on to Tucker. And now Tucker really is he's taken metaphorically the baton away, the conversation away from Nick Fuentes. And now Mark Levin and Shapiro and all these others are now attacking. Now it's just focusing purely on Tucker, not so much Nick Fuentes anymore. And it just feels like that, again, knowing the history of Carlson, where his dad was CIA, his son works with a CIA operative, Peter Thiel, it's just like, is this some kind of sophisticated way of controlling the conversation? And all of the stuff you're seeing, the incredible overreactions, almost pantomime level hysteria from these people, is it all fake to make people then think that we've got to defend Tucker? But it's going to be strange, because if people like Trump are going to denounce Tucker, I can't see how. Really, I'm shocked people are still supporting Trump in the first place, especially after the Epstein stuff. But if they ditch Tucker, using their own logic, that's it. That's got to be the nail in the coffin for MAGA, and it really is MIGA, as in make Israel great again. It really isn't nothing to do with America at all. So that's my perception of it. That's my take on it, and I don't think that we're going to see what's going to happen. But yeah, that tweet did get quite a lot of likes after I said that. So we're going to see. But anyway, I'm going to get our guest on, because I've been yapping on a bit too much now, and we're going to be discussing some of the other madness that's going on. So I'm going to welcome to the show, Abi. How are you?
Hey, Sean. It's really nice to see you. Even though I saw you a few weeks ago at the Digital ID Fiona's March.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right. I did see you there, didn't I? Yeah. That's lovely.
How's things?
Well, I'm not having a great day, if I'm honest. I've already had to. I've not eaten all day, which is first. So I'm a bit hangry. And the second thing is that I wanted to go to the gym, because I think I've become addicted to the gym, and I haven't gone to the gym today. So that's also two things that. But I did pick up a cooler box on Facebook Market. So
you picked up a cool box?
Yeah, like a fridge thing. Like a
that's cool. That's good.
For a car. So
nice.
That's the only thing. But I'm only out of 3 things, I'm 2 down and 1 up. So
excellent. Yeah, I was listening into some of your stuff. It's all fascinating what's happening in America on the concern. Well, actually, I think of it as a free speech issue. You're either for free speech with no boundaries, or you're not. You can't have caveats if you're a free speech person, is my view. So it's always going to lead to possible accusations of, are they controlled? Are they taking the conversation in a certain direction? For instance, first of all, I just want to say I've got a book out, because if I don't say it now, Sean, it'll literally be half an hour, and then you'll be like,
I did see you on UNN last night. I saw you on UNN last night, and I was thinking, are they ever going to talk about the book at any point? It was a great conversation, but then even I forgot. I was like, oh yeah. I was thinking, she's the book. Yeah, I forgot about the book.
Because I haven't spoken to David or you like this for so long that it's kind of weird. You just get into the habit of going, oh yeah, I've got something that I've been working on. So this is my book, Hot Banana. As you can see, there's a banana, there's an American flag, there's a Russian flag as well, and there's a little holiday flag in there. Ooh, it's basically a memoir, but in essay form. So it's taken sections of my life that I just focused on, highlights. So, it's not like that boring thing of, I was born this year, and then I did this, and then I went to school, then that stuff where people go, oh God, please get a gun and shoot me. This is just high, and actually it's like a CD. It's got CD tracks are the titles of the chapters. So you got Freedom of Bleach. There's a clue. I mean, obviously I'm a natural blonde. Shush, stop laughing. Sweet Home Abibama, which is the name of my theme tune for my podcast, Abby Daily. Nice baubles, because I talk about bauble chasing. We all know, don't we, Sean, people that do that. Whatever Love Means. We were familiar with that with the Diana story, Princess Diana. Sex and the Witty. Oh, these titles. I'm actually very proud of them myself, even though I wrote them. The Prizes Heaven Takes. Dolphins. There's a song clue in there. And Death Shall Have No Dominion. Faith Runners. Вечная память, which means eternal memory in Russian. I am a Russian speaker. Actually, my dad was probably MI6. So does that make me controlled opposition? I'll leave that for you.
Keep it in the family, Abby. So
keep it in the family. I'll leave that for your discerning audience.
It's a family
the Shit Show. There's another chapter, The Shit Show, which is, of course, about the COVID nonsense. And the last one is Are You Fucking Joking, which is about my arrest in 2023. And as you can see, there's a cross on the back of the book, my cross, and there's a kind of clue in there. Well, you'll have to get the book. It's on lulu.com, Lulu, Lulu.com, as in, you make me want to shout. It's also on Amazon, Kindle and Apple Books as well. And that is the plugging out the way, Sean. Let's get on with it.
Do you know what
I hate bloody plugging stuff.
This reminded me of? Do you know what this reminded me of?
Tell me.
Do you ever just watch Boat Selector?
Crab paste. Hey, crab paste.
Satisfied. Bastards. But here, have a look.
Have a look.
It's my new book. In it, you'll find out the truth behind the Spice Girls split. Oh.
Split, banana split, hot banana.
Split.
See, it's all
you
connected.
cheeky. For a minute, I thought you were saying I was like fucking Mel Scary B. How very dare you, Sean? You cheeky monkey. But it is. I love Bo Selector, one of my favourite things of all time.
It's my new book. Why have you
Proper
called it hot
Bo.
Is that some kind of innuendo of some sort? Why a hot banana?
What, hot banana? Actually, I should explain the title. Duh. It's when I was growing up, my dad was a musician, guitarist, so he was a session musician, and me and my sister used to sing with him, harmonies and stuff. And one of our earliest songs was "Baby, Let Me Be Your Loving Teddy Bear," and the harmony. The words for the backing was "Baby, let me be hot banana, your loving teddy bear, hot banana, oh hot banana, oh hot banana," up there. So hence the title, Hot Banana. There's a lot of stuff about being in the music business in here, songwriting, and in fact, in every chapter, there's songs that are pertinent to the time. And on Spotify, there's 95 songs that you can go to a Hot Banana Spotify playlist. So once you've read the book, you can kind of go, oh, that song she mentioned, I've never heard of it. I wonder where I can listen to it. And there you go. So it's there's lots of politics in there, lots of Trump stuff. There's lots of vaccine stuff in there. There's stuff about death. There's stuff about my late husband. There's stuff about God. I mean, honestly, Sean, there's quite literally something for everyone. Even Toby Young might enjoy it. Lord of Acton, or whatever he's called.
I once saw, get this, Abby, your stand-up comic as well. I once saw Toby Young do a stand-up routine at the Bethnal Comedy Unleashed.
Backyard?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that like?
I don't remember it, so it must have been not good.
Have you blanked it out? It was traumatic.
I do that with films. There's films and books or whatever that I've read or watched in the past, and I will be sitting down watching a film, and then about half an hour into it and go, oh, wait, I've seen this. and it's bad. That's why
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
It's just what my mind does. It's bad. I just won't remember it.
Yeah. Do you know what the last film I think I did? Well, this is not the only film, but do you remember Cinderella with Russell Crowe? It's a lesser known Russell Crowe. Honest to God.
Isn't it called Cinderella Man? It's a Cinderella Man.
I think it is, yeah, Cinderella Man.
It's a boxing film.
Yes, that's it, boxing.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't even remember any of it.
I've seen that. Can't remember a thing about it. Apparently
exactly.
It's a true story as well,
exactly. It should have been great. Russell Crowe, boxing, what's not to like? But it was a bit like, oh God, I actually totally blanked.
He's fighting around the world again. Russell Crowe.
He's very attractive, though. Russell Crowe. He's right up my strata.
People get the South Park reference. There was so much stuff I wanted to say. So you've written a few books before, haven't you? Is that true?
Well, I've written. So this is my second. Well, this is my first real book. What I call what I've written. You know, it's like all my own words, basically, no pictures. It's like a proper grown-up book that you go, oh, shall I get this? You know, buy this or whatever. And then the other one is We the People, which is that one. I don't know if you can. If that's all clear there,
Mm-hmm.
We the People, Letters from Dystopia. That's my book with Bob Moran's cartoon on it, and this is a book of letters written to me by people that listen to my podcast. I started it in 2022, Abi Daily, and it's letters about the lockdowns, about vaccines, about just honestly horrific stories. This is printed at cost, by the way. This was not a money making thing at all. This is all like. Like I said, I didn't make a penny out of it. And then I'll show you just inside. So, in fact, that you'll know this, Sean, because you know Trudy, one of my listeners. That's Benjamin, who took his own life in 2020, July 2020, age 25. That's Benjamin. That's Trudy's son. So there are and then there's Bob. There's Bob cartoons. So things like this all the way through. You see, that's the letters. And honestly, Sean, and we've had to put warnings in between all the letters that, you know, basically Samaritan's warnings, because it's so fucking horrific what was done to people, the immorality, the criminality, which is still going on. I mean, the BBC, if Trump is all they can pin on them is the Trump editorial. That's a bit like pulling Ted Bundy over for driving badly. You know, It's just or Fred West for shoddy paving. I put earlier on Twitter. It's so absurd. It's like, what? The BBC was the propaganda arm for the government, and it has been probably for a lot longer than 2020 as well. But I always try and keep in that time frame. Otherwise, you know, you could just be going back to the 60s. In which case we'll be here for the 3 years, you know. So We the People, you can get that as well on Lulu and Kindle and Apple Books. But Hot Banana is it's fun, it's funny, it's sad. It's like, I mean, it's just basically something you can dip in and out of. My book.
Yeah, it's again. I was just perplexed by the title. I just want to show, as you're talking about that. So you've got obviously. I'm just trying to find your Wall of Shame video. Where is that? I can't. Is that what it's called?
Wall of Cunts is on. It should be on Rumble.
Oh, that's right.
Great Wall of Cunts might be on Rumble, or do you know what? I came off Rumble though. I'm like you. I was a bit like, I'm not really sure about this place. That's me. That's me doing the little promo. It's funny though. I see myself on this video, and it's a bit like, "Hello, I'm Abi Roberts, and here's the." I mean, it's all really sort of having to be serious because it's bloody serious. The stuff, you know, you can't be pissing around when you're talking about people's lives.
Abi, are you still kind of politely counselled from like the? How can I say it? Like the mainstream alternative crowd, like things like GB News and.
Oh yeah. I was on GB News for 8 months,
Union,
and then I was never invited. I left GB News 2022, which is when I started Abi Daily. I was never invited back on after quite a spat on the Neil Oliver show about the vaccines with John Gaunt. That's in the book as well. I mentioned that.
Oh yes, I remember. Oh God, what a horrible individual, John Gaunt.
Absolutely horrific. So no, I'm very out of out of that. Although, I saw people at the digital ID march. I've seen some people who maybe I drifted away from a little bit. I wouldn't say we fell out. Thanks, that's my Substack. Yeah, that's where you can see, listen to Abby Daily and read my articles. But I'm definitely more of a fan now of building kind of some alliances. If I hope that doesn't sound too normal. Oh, there you go. That's the Great Wall. Oh.
I'm gonna play. Go on, finish what you're saying, Abby. And
sorry. Building some kind of some kind of alliances. Again, we're back to the free speech thing. We're back to the absolute fundamental necessity, the sacredness of free discourse. Hence, allowing Nick Fuentes to say what he says. By the way, Nick Fuentes has been around since He was cancelled in 2016 by the conservative lot. So he's been going along. He was cancelled way early because he was like, oh, I'm going to exercise my free speech. Oh, you mean I can't talk about Israel? I can't talk about things that are concerning me. So he found out pretty early.
That just shows you again, like just how deep the kind of rock goes in terms of the influence that really like Israel has upon America, because he was recruited. Because obviously he's a very good talker. He's very good at basically getting his message across. Yeah. And I think that the young Republicans and Turning Point USA, who obviously Charlie Kirk was head of at the time, is that they basically kind of poached him. They headhunted Nick Fuentes and said, hey, be in our organization, talk for TP USA and young Republicans and all of this stuff. And hey, you'll go places, kids. You know what I mean? One day you'll be a congressman or a senator, and who knows, right? Yeah. And then he started to notice, obviously, then that within those organizations, there was things that you couldn't drift into. You couldn't really talk about. Yes. He started to notice that obviously this isn't actually America first. It might have the USA name in it, and it might have the Republican Party, which is obviously a party of America, a political party within America. It's that, but there is this big control from an external force, nation, foreign nation. Yes, exactly. And it's that, and then that's why he was originally cancelled. And that's why I say that the rot is deep. So if you dare to talk about this stuff, you are kicked out. So it isn't none of these parties and the Democrats as well. Is that none of them are really America first? They are very much, how can I say, a diluted, kosher-friendly kind of product that is given to the American people, and then say, hey, this is what America first means. This is what MAGA means. I mean, MAGA also means that you are pro-Israel.
Yeah, they're bent over, the Americans.
Yeah, it's just like it's that thing where, I can't have two masters. In that kind of guidance of loyalty.
No, you can't have two masters. So, but it's a really fascinating thing that's happening, and I think what's happening to Tucker Carlson is just fucking outrageous, considering this is a man, by the way, who on Fox News was probably the most vocal about the lockdowns, about vaccines. And this is when he still had his job, And by the way, I am I'm praising him, but I praise a lot of people. Nobody owns me. Nobody owns Abi Roberts. I say what I want to say. If I want to say that person said something which I agree with, and they don't happen to be in the kind of approved truther / conspiracy group, then it's my right to say it. And then if they say something which is bullshit, then I'll go, well, that's clearly nonsense, or I'll argue back. But I think groupthink can also exist within circles that we find ourselves in. So it's very important that you check your thinking, which can be quite exhausting sometimes, because then you're like, oh my God, do I? But you feel free though. It feels so much better when you just go, this is what I believe. I might change my mind in a couple of weeks, but this is the conclusion I've come to from watching people and their body language and listening to various conversations. I think that's healthy. It's a healthy way to be.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's healthy to have your worldview questioned a lot, but there's something. There's something. I mean, I just happen to be looking on Twitter as well. Here is that you've got Senator Ted Cruz, who is another just
Terrible, man.
Yeah, just eyed up, like zogged to his eyeballs, right? I mean, I'll just read this, and this is actually true what he's saying, but obviously not to what many people will think. He said here in the net, he's obviously had Mark Levin on. In the last 6 months, I've seen more anti-Semitism on the right than any time in my life. So anti-Semitism is basically anyone questioning, hey, I think this foreign nation has a big influence on our country, as in the US. And that's
unregistered. This unregistered foreign nation. We have to be clear about that. Like they're not registered. AIPAC's not registered at all.
No,
the money that goes to America.
It is a foreign source. So if we refuse to denounce it, this is Cruz talking, it could destroy the Republican Party because just as it has destroyed the Democrat Party. And it's true. What he's saying there is that we have to denounce it, as in, i.e., criticisms of Israel, or else it will destroy the Republican Party, because the Republican Party, even in its DNA now, is tied with Israel. So that's actually true what he's saying. It's not having the same, he's actually saying the quiet bit out loud almost.
Yeah.
He's kind of revealing here that the Republican Party is pretty much not a party for the American people. It's actually a party for Israel.
Exactly right. And also, and tied to the forever wars. I mean, no wonder. And I only say Nick Fuentes, by the way, because he's a young guy, so he's in his 20s. Imagine you're a young man in you're 18, 19, and you get locked down in 2020. Then you have to wear a muzzle. Then you get your university days are all fucked up, meeting people, having sex, drinking. No, that's all out the window because you've got to stay in your room. Then you got to watch while your parents have vaccines, have injections that are coerced by the state. Then you watch wars after war after Ukraine, Russia. Then you got the Gaza thing. Then you got all the climate fucking nonsense, trans stuff, BLM. Is it any wonder that men between 18 and I'd say early 30s, maybe a bit later than that, are angry and disappointed and thinking, hang on a minute, what's gone on here? So I'm very, very sympathetic to the cause, whether they're here or the US.
You now have. So there's a lot of young, like you're saying is correct, a lot of young people, right?
Yeah. Women, girls too, by the way.
Yeah, you've got a lot of young people now who, I've said this in a while, because I personally dropped out of uni after the first year because I saw that this is all just absolute nonsense, this whole thing. You've got everyone goes to university now. I know people, even in our awake community, that go, oh, it's great, my kid's going to university, so I'm gonna drive them up to their uni, wherever, and say bye. And I'm like, why are you sending your kids to uni for, man? It's like you're getting the kid heavily indebted in becoming a debt slave, essentially. They're going to come out, they're going to be within those 3 years, or may even be longer if they, whatever, if they got to redo a year or whatever. They're going to get indebted. They're going to be brainwashed within that university, because that's all university is. It's a brainwashing factory. You're paying for your own indoctrination, and you're going to come out with a degree that is basically like the equivalent of hyperinflation money. You've got more people coming out of degrees now than there are jobs available. I saw a statistic the other day, I think David Clues was telling them, is that now you have something like, I don't know, 10 million people coming out of uni, and the only jobs available to them are 17,000. And that's just, and you're not even thinking about the overseas people who will come overseas, work for cheaper. So the employer will go, well, I'd rather have that Indian guy, or I'd rather have that Chinese guy, because they'll take less money and less work benefits.
Yeah.
So you've got all of these people now. I have to see, even back in my day, right? I'm as the same when I was a student. I'm 38, right? And when I could go, all these people, they're going. I know people to this day still that are still house sharing. They have jobs that they could have easily got if they never went to university at all. They have average jobs. They have a job that you don't need a degree for. Yes. And these people are miserable. And the worrying thing is that because they're now pissed off, which they rightfully should be,
Yeah.
because they have been screwed over, is that they're going to turn to a basically a con man that is presenting them an easy option of communism, for example.
Someone like
Zach. Someone like the Green Party leader, Zach Polanski,
yes,
we need to deal with these people, and they're going to go with that because that again is an easy. This is like the MAGA people where they go, hey, don't bother getting off of your own arse and actually trying to do something and stop paying your taxes and actually do something worthwhile. Just get this lifetime billionaire who's been in the club, who's been in the establishment club all his life, been a lifelong Democrat,
exactly.
Never worked a day in his life, really.
Trump is not a free market libertarian. No, he's just suggested 50-year mortgages. That is essentially indentured, servitude to the, because if you think about it, it's just another way of saying, well, I'm afraid you're going to be shackled to the state for the rest of your life. This is not small government free marketeer stuff at all.
That's another thing that is just flabbergasted me. I mean, I thought the Epstein files was enough to come on, people.
Jesus.
This guy, he's not.
I know.
He's
if Operation Warp Speed, Warp Speed didn't do it, surely the Epstein would do it.
The Warp Speed thing, the Epstein thing, I thought definitely did, but no, there are still people in it. And now he's proposed a 50-year mortgage.
Yeah.
That it just shows you. And I've seen people like Carl Benjamin or AKA Sargoy of the Cringe and all of these people, the low take eaters, defend this and say, but you'll pay less. But you'll pay less monthly, but you'll be paying more throughout the decades. Like a lot more.
Exactly. Especially with inflation. Yeah, it's crazy. But can I just say in defense,
you will never own that property.
No,
You're just
exactly.
renting it from the bank, essentially.
It's totally the reverse of free market. The free market, which is bizarre that Carl Benjamin, although I do question his intellectual, capacity.
Carl has no understanding of economics. He's economically illiterate. Go on.
To be fair, can I just defend my friend Connor Tomlinson, who is a Lotus Eater? He has fallen foul of the free speech issue because he did an interview with Michael Gove and Catherine Burble Singh, who runs that school that's got standards basically in London, and with Michael Gove, and he was promised the interview by the Spectator, by the way, held it this discussion. Connor was told, yes, of course you'll have the footage because it's free speech, guys, and you have a discussion. He's been refused it. They're not going to give it to him because Michael goes behind it and he's saying, no, I don't want it out there. So he's asked the Free Speech Union, Connor Tomlinson, to help him. They've said no, it's not in our wheelhouse. To quote one of my favourite phrases that Douglas Murray said about the COVID vaccines, not in my wheelhouse. But there are people who are realising that things like the Free Speech Union are run by the establishment. They have no interest in real free speech. You should defend anyone.
Years ago, what really exposed him, Toby Young, was that there was a woman called oh God, what was her name now? Tara Ahmed was her name, Tara Ahmed, and she said something it was quite a inflammatory comment that she said about the fire in those flats. What was it called again? And
Grenfell Tower, Grenfell, right? The Grenfell fire. Yeah,
right. And she said something quite inflammatory, right? And
that's a good joke, by the way, you just made. You're probably intentional.
Yeah, well,
inflammatory.
Yeah. And basically,
did you joke burn the house down? Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so she said, and then she was then arrested because of the comment.
Yeah, and I do remember this.
She went to the free speech. Well, someone said Nick Conn that basically atted Toby Young, and he said this is like when the Free Speech Union had started, about 6 months into it. And I just knew. I went, well, that's it then. This is not what it claims to be on the tin. And he said his reply was, and he did reply this. You probably find it on Twitter somewhere. Is that he said that sorry, I don't defend hate speech. This is a guy who created a union called the Free Speech Union, And because Toby Young is a Zionist rent boy, he's written articles in the past saying that he dreams that, to live in Israel one day and wish that he would, and he would defend. And Israel's always been his spiritual home, and all of this sort of cucking to Israel, basically. Because the comment was relating that Tara Ahmed's comment was related to Jews, he said that I don't defend hate speech. So really, what he should say is as apparently a free. When you use the term free speech and you say that you're a free speech advocate, you have to really mean that. You can't have this kind of quagmire. Oh well, there's hate speech and there's free speech. No, there is. If you believe in free speech, there is no such thing as hate speech. Hate speech is a made up term.
Yes,
it's not real.
The marketplace of ideas has to be free. Otherwise, it's not free and it's controlled by somebody. So it's like that's not free speech. So people need to basically go and have a good think about what free speech actually is. Because there's people that haven't got a fucking clue.
Speech, or there isn't a middle ground here. There isn't a grey area. There either is or there isn't.
Yeah.
It's simply that black.
I'd much rather hear it all, hear anything at all, and make my own. Because sunlight is the best disinfectant. I know it sounds a bit of a cliche, but I'd rather see everything in the sunlight, out in the open, rather than there be sort of like murky things where because that's not civilized at all, is it? People are doing that.
Well, this is why it makes me laugh again. Like Tucker Carlson again. I put I think I'm a little bit more down the conspiracy rabbit hole maybe, but I
do fancy him by the way as well, Tucker Carlson. I should make that clear.
I personally do not trust Tucker at all. He's got the whole background of him, everything, his family, the Fox News thing. I do think that personally he is some kind of security asset. That's just my take on it, my opinion on it. But I think that all of that, but it's just so wild in terms of Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. They always want him cancelled, and it feels like I'm watching wrestling. It feels like I'm watching like a fake show in front of me, and it's like they really want everyone. They want to be like, it's quite. Do you know Academic Agent? Do you know is a YouTuber called Academic Agent?
Yes, I do. Yes, I've seen him come fall foul of people. Yeah. He,
like me, is kind of an old school wrestling enthusiast. So I don't watch wrestling now. I don't know anything about it, right? But the old school, the Hulk Hogan days, whatever, still The Rock and Stone Cold, all of that. Yeah. So he uses like me. He uses a lot of terminology to basically explain some of what's going on here, and it feels as though that they're putting Tucker as the baby face, as the good guy. And Mark Levin and Shapiro are being placed as the heels, as in the bad guys, right? And it's this way, and it's all about crowd psychology. Wrestling is all about crowd psychology of getting the crowd to root for the good guy or and boo the bad guy. That's what 90% of it is, really.
But then you could say that. Sorry to interrupt you, darling. But you could say that then about Bill Gates. We know he's a bad guy. Because he's fucking injected Africa, experimented on Africa, and then pushed out I'm wary sometimes of those comparisons because then it means that we have to apply that logic to everything, to everyone. In which case we'd have to then say that the Gates stuff, the Schwab stuff, the WEF stuff, that's also pantomime. But we know it's real because Schwab's written a book saying he's going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the camp that everything is fake, but I do think there is a bit of razzle dazzle.
There's always because of the media, because it's on your screens as well. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of razzle dazzle and drama, because that's human. That's human nature as well. That's life, isn't it?
That's why I don't buy into the whole left versus right stuff. I only use the only time I use left. I actually do use it a lot, but only to say that I hate to say left and right.
Yes, I know what you mean. It's really difficult.
Right, it does feel like crowd psychology. And obviously being left or right is in your perspective. Obviously people on the left think that they're the good guys and people on the right think that they're the good guys. And they both think about the opposite of each other. Right? Yeah. So it's this sort of crowd psychology where it's like, I mean, you look at like the education secretary in America is Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon is the husband is the wife of Vince McMahon, who owns the or did own the WWE, the biggest wrestling thing ever. So he got all of it. Donald Trump used to be in wrestling. He was a character in wrestling at one, but Donald Trump was an actor at one point. Home Alone, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, loads. He was a certified within the Actors Guild. Bought out by the Rothschilds as well when all of his businesses failed in the 1980s. So it's like, so a controlled actor, one could say. I don't know. But again, I don't think everything is fake, but I do think that there is a bit of sugar, like a bit of dramatics that is piled and everything that is true. So things are true, but it's over-egged. Do you know what I mean? It's the politics in a way is a form of entertainment. It's like a virtual reality entertainment that you can get involved in. It isn't just
there's the saying politics is show business for ugly people. I mean that's a very old saying. So I think it's in the eye. Human beings love entertainment. They love the good versus evil. Hence, God versus the devil. All those kind of stories. And by the way, I think that's certainly over the last 5 years, that's become more and more obvious, evident to me that there are, forces, so shall we say, the dark forces working in the world that can still be overcome, because otherwise, I think the great thing about being a human being is that you always have that ability to look beyond the dark stuff to the light. And if you don't have that in your, shall we say, in your sights, then life doesn't have any meaning. So it just literally is reduced to a film or fakery or that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. And then ultimately, I'm flesh and blood. This is a screen. You're a human being. I saw you a couple of weeks ago. I hugged someone yesterday who I didn't know very well because they weren't feeling great. That to me is what gives life meaning. And if I'm called a normie for it, I don't give a fuck.
Are you a religious person, Abby?
Yes. Yeah. I'm Russian Orthodox by baptism.
Russian Orthodox. That's
in the book as well.
Christianity, is it?
That's in the book. But I was an atheist for 20. Huh?
Have a look. Your new book.
Have a look at me new book, Hot Banana. You can see the Russian flag. I mean, people said, Sean, my arrest was fake. In 2023, I was arrested outside the COVID inquiry for saying fuck. Actually, that was on my arrest sheet. 17 fucking hours in a police cell because I swore when I was told not to by police officers. True story. And people on Twitter, including people that I know, who I think should know better, said, it was staged, it was fake, it was staged. Who's got the fucking time? Excuse me, is that the Met Police? Yeah, can we get some actors in? Because I'm going to be at the COVID inquiry at 9:30, and I'm going to be the one with the yellow placard standing behind Tom Harwood, who I used to work on GB News with, and then we're going to go to a cell, and then Francis O'Neill came down, by the way, to visit me in the cell, so he knows I was in the cell because there was a policeman. Unless all the policemen were in costume.
I don't really know Francis, but I weirdly know his brother, Tommy.
Oh yeah, his brother's not very nice. Well, they're both, nice.
Because his brother used to be in Jam for Freedom with Campbell.
Oh yeah, Jam for Freedom.
So he was like one of their guitarists, like Tommy. So I don't really know Francis, but it's weird how like how a small world it is. Sort of thing.
Yeah. He came down. Then Charlotte came down. Charlotte came literally that day to see me at home because I was released at 3 a.m, and then I had a bit of kip, and then Charlotte came over that evening. So the same day, Charlotte and Francis, and we had some champagne. They got some champagne. Charlotte bought it, a gift from an Abby Daily listener. And honestly, if you see photos of me, Sean, I can see in my face and in my whole body that I'm traumatized. I know 17 hours. I'm not Solzhenitsyn. I'm not Fiona Rose. Who's been arrested loads of times.
And you made it your YouTube. You made it your YouTube channel profile.
That's me being arrested. And the top one. See the main. The long picture. That's me in Vegas. That's me in a feather boa walking down a road in Vegas. Because, that's the kind of fucking weird life I've had, mate.
It's very
strange.
What is it? Priscilla, Queen of the Desert sort of look going
exactly. Yes.
Trying to find. Where is that video of you being arrested? Is it on your YouTube?
Oh, I don't know. Charlotte might. I think Charlotte played it the other day on her show.
Yeah, Charlotte's Web. Yeah, I saw. I didn't actually watch it, but yeah, I did see it.
Charlotte's Web. Yeah, you can see. I mean, I've had a sort of. Oh, that was on TNT. There's Great Wall of Cunts. See the yellow posters just there. You flick past it. There.
I thought this was actually quite good. I remember when this came out. I thought it was quite good. So,
on behalf of Abi Roberts, who's done that?
I would say excuse the language, guys, but Abby's just been swearing like a sailor all day today, so it doesn't really matter.
Like a sailor. You sound like a fucking Victorian lady.
The only thing,
a sailor, you know.
The only thing that Lempit OPEC told me, he said, the only thing, Sean, that you can say whatever you want, talk about whatever issue you want, but can you just not swear? And I said, yeah, I won't swear. However, I can't. The guests. I didn't say anything about
the guests. Oh, come on.
So let's listen to this.
I'm not that bad.
Oh. Have you been the worst? Swear again. Swear again. Simple. Well, fuck you. Okay.
Well, Henry, well, you can't believe that.
And these are all the. I don't know who's done this, mate. Hey, there's Wayno just popped up. I don't know who's done this, mate, Sean, for me. Oh. This is not my my doing, if you know what I mean, my creation. So somebody very nice. But, it was 24 posters, by the way, of all the people that said you have to get vaccinated or you're going to be segregated from society, you're going to be punished, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, you're going to be... Look, fucking Sarah Kayat, what did she say after... Oh, yeah, 100% safe and effective. All lies, and just lies upon lies.
About this. I've forgotten about this myself. I forgot Piers Morgan said this stuff.
Oh.
Again, people think that there are some people that say, "Oh, Piers Morgan, oh God, he said something great the other day." So this guy wanted you locked up, mate, and denied.
He's terrible. Stuff. And McElvoy, the unvaccinated have become a lethal liability. We can ill afford. She's bloody Evening Standard editor, I think. He was terrible. I met Alistair Stewart. I met him at GB News. He didn't. And you know what's interesting, actually? I think he got ill. I think either with some rare disease not that long ago, motor neuron or something. I can't remember. I mean, very sad. I have no, I don't take any joy in the people that get ill.
People like...
Oh, he's teased awful as well.
Right? Nick Ferrari and Julia Hartley-Brewer and all these people.
Hartley Spewer.
Yeah, these are people that are considered to be like counter-establishment.
You just put your WhatsApp on. That's my fucking... Who's WhatsApp? Is that Charlotte?
This is me. What?
I don't want to see your fucking... Your OnlyFans, your YouPorn.
No, this is...
Your YouPorn account, please, mate.
I got this up on purpose to sort of reiterate my point, right, about...
Right.
What so you've got people who think that Julia Hartley-Brewer, Nick Ferrari are sort of on our side. They're seen as counter-establishment shock jocks, right?
Yeah, they really are controlled opposition. They really are the definition of controlled opposition.
And I put this up. You know what it reminded me of? And I thought these people, these kind of boomer people, right?
Yeah.
Or not literally boomers, as in they might be part of that generation, but like they've been given the term boomer brains now. So you can be like a millennial or a Gen Y or anything like that, Gen Z, and you can be considered like a boomer brain. I think that's what mostly like. I know you mentioned Connor Tompkinson before, but people like him and the low take eaters, as I call them, the lotus eaters, is that they basically turn their viewers. Even though they're mostly young people, they turn their viewers into boomers. They're like they create boomers. Their content create, and their takes, their very low takes on stuff, on topics, creates boomers. They create boomer brains.
They let me talk about the vaccines. They let me talk about the vaccines basically unhindered quite early on.
Yeah. But they'll never.
I mean, I'm only defending them because they were good to me, I like
They'll
people
never
that are
do it
loyal.
themselves. Look, Carl Benjamin, right? I always remember because
I never met him actually.
I used to know, like he purposely, none of those Lotus Eater people, they never ever came out during the lockdowns. And keeping in mind, these people just before COVID began, they literally were marketing themselves and going around telling everyone that they were free speech advocates, and they created a term called liberalists, which was basically they were people who will defend civil liberties no matter what.
Right.
So you had the great, and this was, and I knew a lot of these people were quite cowardly, and you just know, you get that sense because like you're just laughing, you're pretending to be this. And the ultimate test was it came during the anti-lockdown stuff. So they were people who claimed to be, because I just say like it's easy to be a rebel when there's nothing to rebel against. Very easy to have that way about you. Oh yeah, I'm a rebel, man. Yeah. There's nothing to rebel against at that particular point.
Yeah.
So when it happened, this was like the greatest test. This was something that really did reveal people. Okay, so we've got the greatest robbery possibly ever in human history, the greatest robbery of civil liberties ever. And we're now going to see who are the men from the boys, right? We're going to see who's going to pass this test now. And Carl Benjamin and all the Lotus Eaters people, they never came out to any kind of march, to my knowledge. If they came out to one or two, that's right. So they're not. They're people who. And I messaged Carl Benjamin personally. I said, Carl, where are you, mate? You're meant to be a, you're claiming to be this free speech advocate and defender of civil liberties, etc. And his reply was that, I've got people who rely on me now, so I can't come to those things. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of us who have people who rely on us, and we have jobs, and we have families, and we have all of this, but yet there's like loads of people still out here. So that was this is why so basically what
I do hear you.
He made a financial decision that basically he knew that his audience would be split in half with this. That if he took an actual stand on it, he would lose possibly half of his audience.
I tell you who I did hear, Sean. This will interest you definitely. And I don't know if you've seen it. Rupert Lowe. Do you know a guy called Andrew Gold who's got his own show? He's got his own podcast show, whatever. And he's very low,
boring. Gets
very Overton window. Very like keeps within the. Well, I saw late last night. I was scrolling, and I came across him talking to Rupert Lowe, Andrew Gold, and Rupert Lowe. Literally, I was so gobsmacked. I couldn't believe it. Rupert Lowe said, "I didn't have the vaccines. No, I refused them." And I was like, "Where the fuck have you been? It's 2025, and now Andrew Gold's like, I have them."
Funny enough, Carl Benjamin said the same thing too. Carl Benjamin came out in 2023 or 4, and he proclaimed that he never had any of the jabs. He wouldn't, because then at that particular point in 2023, it was an acceptable talking point. It was within the acceptable.
But it's 2025.
The window. So Rupert Lowe that just shows who these people are.
Yeah,
is that he waited for it to be safe.
Oh, just unreal. I just could not believe it. I was like, oh my God, it's 2025 and you're in an interview with somebody and you're talking about these dangerous gene therapies as if you're breaking news to the rest of us. That's what really made me angry, Sean. I was like, hang on a fucking minute. People have lost their jobs. They've had fucking nervous breakdowns because of the bloody vaccine shit. And now you're pretending like this is the big reveal, everyone. Yeah. They're very dangerous, And I thought Rupert, so that made me feel sick.
That just shows you again that Rupert Lowe will never do anything worthwhile because again he waited until it was safe to talk about it, until it was acceptable. Look, you need to say things
it's just dreadful,
when it's unpopular,
really.
When it's truth, when it's when if you believe that those particular things were dangerous to people, you need to be saying it when it matters, when people are about to get them. Or, you know what I mean? Not waiting years later after most people have had it and then go, oh, yeah, I never took any because I don't believe that they're safe. You see what I mean? Like, that's a very cowardly thing to do. And that's why people like Rupert Lowe and most politicians are cowardly liars anyway. We all know it. I saw that there was there's a Labour MP at the moment for Feltham in London, in West London, called Greg. Let me just share the screen here. Called Greg Brackenridge, has apparently been caught out lying for being an ex-Royal Marine. Claims the Reform UK candidate, is it Prabdeep Singh? So this is a guy who never was actually a Royal Marine, or at least he never finished the full training of being a Royal Marine, so he never actually became one. If you get what I mean, he may have went for the thing, but he still goes around wearing the ex-service tie and saying that, oh yeah, I'm in the Royal Marine, yeah, I was all this, and all this, and it's just all lies. And these people, you're expecting Rupert Lowe, who again waited years he could have said something courageous. Yes, it would have divided perhaps his followers or whatever, but it was truth, and that's all that matters.
I wasn't I'm not expecting anything from Rupert Lowe because he's not my. I think he's just, to me, part of the swamp. But it was so what do you call it? So arrogant and like he was sitting pompous. That was it. Like he was sitting there going, "Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, they're very dangerous." I was like, "Oh my God! I just can't." I couldn't compute with what I was listening to. If you know what I mean. It was so fucking weird.
The people who are following Rupert Lowe, right? And again, this includes the sort of followers of the Lotus Eaters and all of that. The boomer brain people, they've become boomers. They might only be like 21, but they've got boomer brains basically. And what it reminds me of, right? I thought I came up with quite a good analogy. Is that do you remember that you ever seen the film 1984 or read the book? You ever?
Yes, of course.
Right. So there's a cat. I don't know if you remember in it. There's Winston Smith's neighbor. He's called Parsons.
Yes.
He's a proper, he's a guy. He is basically a boomer, right? In my opinion, this is a guy who listens to the media, as in the 1984 controlled media, and gets excited when this is a guy who in the book and film, he was excited that the Big Brother state had upped the choco rations by 25 grams a week. So they get so they'll get a reward. So if you listen to all of the media stuff, they're like they go, oh yeah, the production has increased, everyone's doing great, the country's doing great, and the country's an absolute asshole. The country is Airstrip 1 is falling apart. There's buildings just decaying, everything. And the government is telling you that life expectancy has improved greatly. And this is what, like, when people go, oh, the GPD is improved by X amount of percent, and we're doing great. The country's doing fantastic, at the moment, and all of
like
this.
The kind of like the sort of North Korean
and then I see
propaganda.
Like these conservative people, these, the small C conservatives, the Lotus Eaters use it then. And go, look, conservatism is great. And I just think I said it. So I've come to realize the character Parson from 1984, who gets excited when the chocolate rations is slightly increased by the state, the 25 grams per week, is similar to those as what is labeled the Patriot movement, right? This is one of my pet peeves, right? These people are easily led as Parsons and often fall for the state-approved talking points via controlled news bodies like GB News or Talk TV or LBC, whatever it is, such as the flag stuff. The flag stuff, I understand it. It might be nice seeing the flag being flown or whatever. However, does it affect our lives? No. It's not doing anything, though. Instead of people are wasting their time, in my opinion. You know what I was thinking about as well, Abby? I don't hear anything about the Blade Runners anymore. Remember the Blade Runners taking down the ULEZ cameras?
Taking down yes, that's true.
And I said, I had Claire Dyer on the show and all of that. And I said, you do know this is doing absolutely nothing. This does nothing to improve the country or anything, because this is the Cobra effect in real life. This looks like that something is happening, but really nothing is happening at all, right? In the sense that, because most people have paid that bloody ULEZ £12.50 or whatever. I heard it's going to go up anyway. They're paying it, and they don't know what cameras the Blade Runners have taken down. So so it's pointless. They don't know. It doesn't do anything. And then all you're doing is that the state are using your taxpayers' money to buy new cameras from Siemens, right? So all that's going to happen is that tax is going to go up. So nothing is actually worked at all. I don't hear anything about these Blade Runners anymore. Right. So that's another kind of example of these Parson-like people, right? Where they think they're doing something incredible, but they're not. It's nothing. It's getting excited over nothing. These people easily led Parsons or whatever. Such as the flags, the state assets like Tommy Robinson and his mark, like Parsons, they get excited and think something wonderful is occurring when Tommy gets to have a state-approved protest, or Trump becomes president in 2024, or RFK Jr. becomes health minister. First thing RFK Jr. declared when he became the health minister was there is a pandemic, there is an epidemic of anti-Semitism. That was literally the first thing he said. I'm going to declare an epidemic of anti-Semitism. So it really shows
not of vaccine injury and death.
No, none of that.
Caused by the COVID-19 vaccines.
Right?
Yeah.
That becomes health, and will believe reform will do anything meaningful. They believe much is improving when in fact it continues to worsen. Robert said it out. Went outside migrant hotels, and I know a lot. Again, people have good intentions of doing this, Rob. I heard David Clues the other day saying that, people, the sort of patriot people, they're a little bit more based. And I disagree with that. I think that when outside migrant hotels, some people think these patriots are a bit more based than that of the counter-protest side. But in reality, both sides are of the same coin and are as brainwashed as each other. At best, they're just a more advanced NPC. That's all it is. They're just a more sophisticated NPC. I'll be referring to these people as Parsons from now on because they're so easily led. They can't see. I do have a degree of
sympathy, empathy, maybe, probably sympathy is probably a better word, with the likes of Adam Brooks. Well, people that have, put it this way, people, if they've got small businesses that were ruined, like a pub or whatever, in the lockdowns, and then they've got kids whose schools were shut, and they had to put the kids back into school, and all that, all the fucking nonsense, which, I didn't have because, sadly, Terry died, I'm a widow, but so I didn't have all that stuff. But I'm trying to put myself in other people's moccasins more, which is thinking, what are they seeing every day? Are they seeing, like, I don't know, all sort of people that like rabbles of basically young men who come over in dinghies? Are they seeing them every day on the high street? Or, you know what I mean? All these little things which if you don't see it, it's very easy to kind of create this narrative that it's not happening or it's not quite as serious as people make out. So I'm maybe it's because I'm getting older. I'm getting kind of softer in my old age about just thinking what people's experiences are on the street, what they're actually seeing, and
what frustrates me is right. What frustrates me is with the. And I get it. I do understand why they are doing it, right? As in people outside, both the flag kind of people putting up the flags, people
trying to grasp some old school
right?
thing. Yeah,
it's true. What they're saying is that you're getting undocumented people where they're causing they're potentially dangerous. We don't know who they are. They're causing all this sort of mischief, right? But what I don't like is that they don't understand then why these people are here in the first place. They don't understand that these people are usually, not always though, but usually they're from Arab lands that are currently being bombed by Israel, the UK military, and the US military. And then through these charities, which are usually controlled by security services and proxy, they call themselves NGOs, non-government organizations, but really they have some sort of link to a government state of some sort. And then they basically, these charities, these humanitarian charities, then export out the Arabs of those lands. And then we in Europe then import them, right? So really it's the British military, it's the US military and Israel that are causing this. They are causing this problem, which then these people end up here. Because obviously if there's less Arab people in these Arab lands, it's more easy to invade them, right? That's why all of that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I get it.
However,
I totally get it.
This is what then pisses me off, right? Is that if you then go to these the anti-migrant hotel people, and you go to them and the flag waving people, and you go like, "Hey, what do you think of Israel? What do you think of Tommy Robinson?" They'll go, "Yeah, love them. Love them, man. They're like on our
Yes.
side. They're fighting for Leo. What do you think of Leo Kirst?
Fucking hell.
Leo
What
Kirst?
an absolute cunt. And I say that word with all its strength and its power. Some of the stuff he support. Well, some of the, I mean, for a start, he was very, very rude about women. He was properly in the trans, the pro trans camp, by the way, for a long time.
Was he?
Very rude about me, some of my friends, people that he hadn't even met before. Definitely inveigled his way into GB News and kind of, I think, made sure, I don't know this for sure, but kind of made sure was a bit of a gatekeeper for some of the things that I might have been involved in. And he was fucking kissing Zelensky's arse. Literally, I mean, maybe feel physically sick. Remember there was that thing, there's a clip of him talking about, being pro, like very anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine, properly though, boot-licking for Zelensky. Not even like a balanced view about, well, Russia's done this and whatever, totally just. And then he made a video, by the way, in 2021, saying that Nicola Sturgeon had not released the vaccines quick enough, and she needs to basically an operation warp speed, which is be the Scottish version. The operation, fucking get on with that, you fucking pricks. What was that saying there? Leo was on. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. What was I saying when Israel? He's gone to, and he's gone to Israel. This to me is, and by the way, free to do what he wants to do. Like whatever floats your boat, mate. But it is so obviously, soul-crushingly self-serving. There is no kind of, should I do this? Oh, I'm not sure if it's kind of morally. None of that.
He has quite conflicting kind of views. Like you said, the things you've just listed off there.
The trans thing was weird.
He doesn't actually seem like he actually has any real principle.
No, he doesn't.
He just seems to. He's almost like a bit like sociopath. Like he's a bit kind of retarded. I'm just going to say, like he doesn't.
On the spectrum.
He doesn't quite understand. He just sort of cherry pick stuff, and then he thinks that the whole Zelensky thing, for example, he probably thought, "Oh, good, this will be a thing that all my fellow, my fellow Lotus Eaters people will get behind or whatever." And he just doesn't. He doesn't realize the bigger picture. He doesn't see it. He doesn't really understand it. He just uses things for his own self benefit. Yes, and I think the whole Israel thing at the moment, like he's a person that goes, "Oh, Israel are out there. They're representing Western values out in the. It's good that they're out there and causing havoc. Israel bombing all these lands." I was talking to someone saying that they believe that there's more stability in the Middle East because Israel out there. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "What? They're bombing all the countries out there.
What the hell? It's never ending." Like, yeah, Leo Kirst. Leo Kirst is a really, really good example, actually. If anyone wants to, if you want to show your kid an example of somebody that absolutely is just out for themselves, basically follows every agenda that he knows is going to keep him in the mainstream. So he's not a Bill Hicks. He's not a comedian in the sense that, I mean, I hope that I've kept some integrity as a comedian where I just think, no, I need to have my own. I've got to have my own views. Nobody's going to tell me what to think because in that case, I've lost as a free voice. And Leo Kirst is so obviously thinking to himself, but if I go that way, I'm not going to get the golden handshake, am I? I'm not going to get the.
I think it's very self-serving.
Whatever.
Yeah,
He'll wake up one day.
Do you know what's funny? Remember I said I saw Toby Young do a stand-up at Comedy Unleashed?
Yeah.
I think, I could be wrong about this, but I've been Comedy Unleashed a few times in the past. And they were either on the same bill, Toby Young and Leo Kirst, or was it a different
I think
time?
they were, yeah, that rings a bell.
And do you know what? Again, I can't remember a single thing from his stand-up, which only tells me, like with Toby Young, it wasn't that good.
Wasn't that good? But Andrew Doyle, who runs, in fact, it's a bit sad actually because Andrew Doyle, who I was on his Free Speech Nation show on GB News a few times, and he started Comedy Unleashed.
But
guy. We definitely, he will never ever acknowledge. Well, he says things like, "Oh, are you going on about your COVID vaccine conspiracies?" Again, whatever, and but it's getting more and more difficult for these people to run and hide because it's everywhere
they just
now.
won't talk about it anymore. I mean, they'll just move on and won't talk about it and pretend that they never.
But I'll keep reminding them. That's one of the reasons I went back on Twitter, because I'm the annoying.
I don't like Andrew Doyle. I don't like Andrew Doyle. However, I do like his creation. What was it? The woman?
Titania McGrath. Oh yeah,
Titania
great.
McGrath. That was funny.
Yeah, I love
He hired an actress. An actress
to be the
originally it was a fake Twitter account, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just him pretending to be this super woke, regressive.
Super woke. Exactly.
And
although he did, Andrew also wrote for Jonathan Pye, and if anyone knows Jonathan Pye, he also did a rant about people should be wearing masks, and that's the moment where I went, sorry, I'm out. Bye. Bye. See ya. But I mean, fair play to Andrew. I'll give credit where it's due, you know.
That's not his real name. He's got that's just a character, Jonathan.
Jonathan Pye is just his character. But I've forgotten his real name.
That stick got really old because obviously it was like a fake news reporter, wasn't it?
A news reporter that got frustrated.
And then he just get frustrated, and it just got really old quickly. Like I remember a friend of mine in Canada, thought it was real and they sent it to me, you know what I mean? And went, oh, look, it's one of your reporters, one of your... And I'm like, no, that's just a comedy character. It's not real.
My character, my character, Kathy Crunt, who's the newsreader with the dark hair, who people might have seen, she's coming back, going to be coming back in thing, and she's far better because basically Kathy Crunt is talking about the agenda. You know, she knows that basically it's all corrupt and it's all propaganda, but it's Jonathan Pye was almost doing it from the point of view that he was defending the agenda. So therefore, it's not satire anymore. It's just he just becomes like a mouthpiece for the. Was that Jonathan Pye was very performative and wore very quickly. Because he was defending the narrative, the agenda. So you can't do satire like that. Can you?
It was a Jonathan Pye or the whatever his real name is.
Tom somebody?
I don't know. He believes that he is a counter-establishment or anti-establishment individual, where in reality he's totally unself-aware that he parrots the same talking points as the establishment, making him an establishment stooge essentially. Like he doesn't get it.
No, not at all. It's really weird.
All I'm going to do now, Abby, is just ask you about comedians.
I'll tell you about
comedians.
The thing is, though, I've got into trouble. I'm aware it's not great, slagging other comedians off, because I'm sure people slag me off enough. I mean, mind you, I've grown a thick enough skin. But if I do see people like Bill Hicks, when he says Bill Hicks talks about people that are advertising like big brands or like advertising orange juice. Have some orange juice. If you're a comedian who basically works for the man, you cannot be talking about global genocide, propaganda for the news. You can't be doing that because you're talking out of two sides of the same mouth, and it's just it's like you can't do it. You cancel yourself out doing that, don't you? Yeah, Jonathan Pye almost got it, but went back to his target lefty audience. I don't think he ever got it at all. Not the agenda, not the big picture he didn't.
According to the Bad Wolf Project on Twitter, it says Pye's real name is Tom Walker.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, talented. Don't get me wrong, very talented actor.
Who's the people that who are your who are your stand-up heroes? Who are people that you used to?
Well, at the moment, it's really changed over. Like Jim Brewer, I absolutely love. He's been brilliant through this whole time. Jim Brewer. Who else do I like? Oh, there's a guy, Ben Bankus.
Oh yeah,
have a look for him. Oh my God, he's so good. And because he's really genuinely funny, but God, he pushes that envelope. Blimey, in fact, he goes right over the edge with it, but he's very, very good. Brilliant.
The guy I like in America, oh God, what's his name? Kyle Dunnigan. Do you know him?
Oh, yes, that rings a bell. Yes, Kyle Dunnigan, yes.
He was a guy who was cancelled from, he used to write, I think he used to write for Saturday Night Live, in the early 2000s, and I know that sounds like a bad thing, actually, but he actually is generally, he's got a YouTube
like proper funny stuff.
Generally, he does the face swap thing, so he's a good impersonator too. So he just has the, whatever the camera basically have a projected of whatever Bill Gates. He does Bill Gates, he does
Bill Gates and
Joe Biden, he does, loads of people. He's really, I think Saroj, my friend's watching in the comments. He did the Rocky. The Rocky show and all
what, the Adrian? Not the Adrian one.
Yo, that guy.
Adrian.
Yeah,
there aren't many British comedians though.
Apparently there's another comedian coming on UNN. What's her name? I had her on before. In America, Leo. No. There's another very pushing the envelope female comic out in America. I'm gonna have to find her name now. I can't remember that. That's really annoying.
I'd like to get to know some more.
Leonardo Joni. Do you know Leonardo Joni?
Oh, that definitely rings a bell. You can't forget that. Leonardo Joni. Is she Italian?
Leonardo. She's. I think she's like not Italian, but she's on the screen here now. Do you know her? This woman, like this by chance?
Leonardo
really
Joni. Yeah, that I definitely recognize the face. Yeah.
The envelope. And do you know Owen Benjamin? Do you know him?
I do know Owen Benjamin. Yes. I like I tell you who I like. I like Jim Breuer, Breuer, because he really gives zero fucks. I mean, about everything. He's come out He's come out talking about Nick Fuentes and free speech, and Jim Breuer's going, I don't care if he's racist or he hates white people or he hates me. I want to hear what he's got to say. You know what I mean? He's like properly going for the free speech thing, which is, I think, admirable. And he's
there was
funny
a guy.
as well.
Now I don't like. There was a guy originally. He started turning up in America, turning up at like the council, like where you have all the elected councillors, and then the members of the public, and then he would
I know what you mean.
He would come really over the top, dressed as like a trans person or something.
Yeah. I do remember that.
But then
with
there
like
was
a
another
wig
guy who then he then usurped it and took it over. And it's just not as funny, and he's just really loud and obnoxious, and I can't again.
Yeah, that's annoying when that happens, though, isn't it? People just need to stick with it. But I mean, as far as British comedians concerned, Christ, I mean, the tumbleweed. Oh,
yeah. Sorry, someone just said in the comment, the guy. So it's not Alex Steen. That's the guy who took over from the
person that was doing the funny. I know what you mean, going to council meetings. Yeah,
Alex Stein usurped the. I mean,
the original guy.
You can really go down a. I wish I had the music now that David has, the Hebrew music, but basically he took over from the other guy. Someone says it in the comments. Let's see. Yeah, she's Albanian, Leonardo. That's right. Yeah.
Albanian. Okay. Well, you see, Eastern Europe, they're much more. They're much more. They don't give a shit because they've been through such terrible times. Most of Eastern Europe, that they're like, fuck it. We don't. We're free to say what we want. So that's why they like that, I think. And long may it last. But as far as British comedians concerned, I mean, from the past, God. Lee Mack, I find hysterical, but I've got to be honest with you, Sean. No one now, not really. No. Alistair Williams is really good, but apart from that,
he's quite funny. The only thing the thing about Alistair Williams, right?
Yeah.
When I've met him in the past, is that he really fell for that QAnon stuff, like hard.
He did. I was quite surprised, but
Q-tard guy, the military's about to take over in America, and everything's going to, looking into the 4D, 5D chess stuff. It's going to be all right,
Sean, you'd be surprised how many people that I know that we both mutually know who also possibly even still maybe think that. So it's like you know what I mean? Like I agree about Alistair, but it's like you'd be quite surprised. It's not unusual, I don't think. I think he's changed his mind, though, hasn't he, Alistair, on that?
Yeah, he doesn't really talk about it anymore. I think he kind of realised that he was bad.
But I mean,
he doesn't really. He doesn't really talk about it anymore.
Yes, he's gone.
This is the guy I was talking about, but I don't know his name yet. I'm trying to find his
Is that a cat
channel, but
on the front there?
I don't know what that is. A weird YouTuber content creator. But,
God, my eyesight's terrible. Is that a cat? No, it's a cartoon
anime
character.
Weird. I don't know, man.
That's some weird Japanese shit, isn't it? Some weird
stuff with Japanese stuff. Yeah, I don't know. What's his name?
That stuff's really weird.
Cassidy Campbell. That's his name. Cassidy Campbell.
Yes, I remember watching this.
It turns off. That was brilliant. I thought, when I started seeing this a couple of years ago, I was like, people need to start doing this here. Like maybe that should be a new project to you and a couple of other comedian cohorts or whatever. You need to get together and just start turning up at council meetings like this, and then just really highlighting the madness of the digital ID or whatever the
climate change or something.
You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever, and just dress up as the proper over the top like environmentalist. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. Do you know who my favorite comedian? So I know, Abby, I know you've been. I'm going to let you go soon, right? But I'm just really
thank you, my love.
Chat.
You
know who you know what my favorite comedy show is of all time is, and
he's holding up Hitler there.
There was only ever 6 episodes of it, right?
Yeah,
and it's got a massive cult following. Do you know? I don't suppose you know him personally. So the show was Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Do you ever used to watch that?
I do. Yes, I do remember it.
Comedy. Like I can watch that. It's only 6 episodes, and it's free on YouTube. I can watch that over and over. I've watched it hundreds of times because I just find it just absolutely. It's the greatest. How can I say it? Like it's like a fake show within a show in a way, right? And it's just and the guy. It really started off the careers of what's his name, Matt Berry, and
I love Matt Berry.
And the guy from the IT crowd. Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah. Richard Iowati.
Yeah, and all of
Who's
them
so
really
good.
started off their careers. But Matt Holness, was it Matt Holness?
Yes, I think it is Matt Holness. Yeah, God, that takes me back.
So he's come back and he's written. So basically, the story is that it's a fake horror writer who's really pompous and up his own arse.
Yeah,
that's just really bad at writing books, but thinks he's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
and he's brought the character back, like like how Steve Coogan brings back Alan Partridge every now and then.
Yes,
and he's brought back the character, and all he does is he's been touring what seems like about 3 years now. Because I went and saw him, and all it is that he's written a new book, and obviously the book's hilarious, like pretending it's a horror book, but it's really really poorly written horror book. And he just reads it on stage, and everyone's just cracking up. And he's been doing that. He's like that's just, and he's just been touring like that for 3 years. Like he's just non-stop. He just brings out another book every now and then. And I went and saw him a few years ago, and now I'm going to see him again fairly soon as well. I just think it's absolutely hilarious. But I think that's the greatest comedy ever, personally. Like more so than any other classic comedy that's ever.
I love it. And just on that note, before I go, Sean, talking about books and reading books, just to remind everyone. Hot Banana is out now. Lulu.com. Lulu. Hot Banana. And that's the back. You can see all the stuff. And there's 280 odd pages. So it's not a slim, I worked my butt off. If I have no arse left, I worked it off that hard. So go and get it. I know people will love it. Oh, Grab
Have a look
at me boot.
It's my new boot. In it, we'll find out the truth. The Spice Girls splits.
Find the banana splits. Right.
Mel B.
Where can people buy the book? I'll put the link in. Where can people buy that book?
It's lulu.com. I think it's lulu.com/shop. That's quite easy, isn't it, to do that? Lulu, Lulu, you make me want to shout.com/shop. That's pretty much it. And then you can go to, and then just Google Hot Banana on Kindle and Apple as well. And then it's there. You'll see it immediately if you just put my name in. Hot Banana and Abi Roberts. Sounds a bit like something quite naughty. Shop the world's largest independent bookstore.
Abby's one of the greatest people I've ever worked with, and I've worked with Lulu and 2 other people. So we're talking creme de la creme here.
We're talking creme de la creme. Right, babe. It's great talking to you, brother.
It's okay. That was a Garth Marenghi reference, but don't worry. Anyway, Abby, thank you for coming on.
I can't remember bloody everything that I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah,
I'm not on the spectrum.
I'm like a mega fan. I'm like a mega fan of Garth.
A mega fan. Yeah. All right, babe. Listen, great talking to you, and thanks for having me on, brother.
No worries. Take care, Abby.
Take care. See you soon. Bye, mate. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Right, that was Abi Roberts, guys, and her new book. So take a look. I'll buy it just K4913-Q3E. Rolls off the tongue. Right, and see why he shows it. They've said that I'll buy Hot Banana. Abby is wonderful. So there you go. Yep, she's an absolute diamond, says Ashley Styles, 6888. Or yep, she is Top Banana, Paranoid One. Yeah, you're right. She is Top Banana. So yeah, there it is. It's on the store. Don't get it from Amazon and the other books. Bloody hell, God, it's fueling the tyranny. Fueling the tyranny. There it is. Abby's new book. So take a look.
And here are the look. It's my new book, isn't it?
Post Selector was hilarious, wasn't it? Like, I forget how funny Post Selector was. That was really good as well. Not as good as Garth Marenghi's though, but still good. I'm actually in quite a good mood now. When I came on the show, I was in a bit of a piss poor attitude, and it's actually all right. I see Siraj was in the chat there, actual coverage. You wanted me to share this video. What's this? What is this? I haven't actually watched it yet. Let's see. Digital ID. It's the new hot thing. Digital ID. Everyone's talking about it.
Only real motivation for digital ID is to have control over people. And, we've seen it in 1984, we've seen it over in China. Surveillance and censorship is the
like
first
a reasonable
step
man that you want to have a chat with.
Being able to just control people in like an authoritative state.
But no one will be anonymous.
Yeah, true, yeah. No one's
outside. Every bonfires night, every 5th of November, Guy Fawkes, the last honest man that went to Parliament, every year people gather outside Parliament and basically just, well, I don't know, they wear all the Viva Vendetta masks. This obviously became popular because of the film Viva Vendetta. At the end of the film Viva Vendetta, obviously everyone dons these masks and then, I don't know, take over Parliament or wherever the film was, really. Anyway, so that's been going on ever since, and really it's just a giant LARP fest where people just come along and they've seen Viva Vendetta one too many times or whatever, consider it the greatest film ever, and they just do nothing, really. They just gather around, say screw the government, F the government, and then they all go home, I think. I went to it twice ever, and I thought most of the people are basically just kind of, how can I say it? They're kind of incel / cucks that usually go to it. I remember speaking to some of them, and they're very, again, these are people who usually generally think that they're counter-establishment, anti-establishment, but you properly speak to them, they're usually pro-green tyranny in a sense that they're pro-environmentalists, which is a massive talking point of all of the major governments of the world and major government figures of the world. They're always talking about green issues and how we need to bring in green laws and green, and all that's green. It's all about taxation, really. Bringing it. How can we take more money and more liberties from people? We need to take more stuff from them. What, they got cars? Take it away from them, right? That's so they usually, so this is why I don't really have too much faith in these people. These are No, they're not. They're not the boomer mind. They're not the low take eater people, but they're kind of like on the other side of the coin. If you get me? Anyway, like, I'm sure that what this guy is saying is probably true, but they lack the substance to actually do anything about it. But at most, they'll dress up in their Guy Fawkes stuff, turn up in Parliament 5th of November, then go back to, whatever, playing Fortnite or whatever. I don't know.
Motivation for digital ID is to have control over people. And, we've seen it in 1984, we've seen it over in China. Surveillance and censorship is the first step to being able to just control people in, like, an authoritative state.
So no one will be anonymous.
Yeah, true, yeah. No,
that's the
The main thing is to show dissent for the current government, because, 3 million people have signed their signature against digital ID, and yet Keir Starmer still wants to push it. We still have Labour pushing it, saying, hey, you're going to have to either pay it, or, pay
it's the thing as well, right? You see, again, I just get really frustrated because these petitions that are going around, and it's last I checked, it was past 3 million. So keep it in mind, people don't know petitions work is if you get 10,000 signatures, you get a response from Parliament. And if you get 100,000 signatures, Parliament may have a committee debate. So they'll go into one of the little rooms in Parliament, and only 18 members of the public are allowed to go into the gallery and watch it. And basically, you will watch a theatre production play in front of you of one guy will be for whatever the issue is, and the other person will be against the issue is. And then you will sit there like Anthony Webber and think that, wow, our democracy is amazing. I made this happen. And then nothing ever gets done about it. And what really petitions are created for is that they're created for a portal so the state, so the government can do something that they want to do. So they'll secretly create the petition, wherever it is, say we need more environmentalist laws for whatever reason. They'll create it, pretend it was some random member of the public that created it, and then they will check once that gets to 100,000, which they've no doubt create fake signatures for, in my opinion, is that then they'll cherry pick the ones that they want to debate, make it seem like something's happening, and then they'll act upon it, and then they'll go and speak on BBC News or Good Morning Britain and gone, well, there was this petition that went around and it got 200,000 signatures. So we now go, that gives us a mandate to pass a law now. And that's what it really is. People like Anthony Webber, boomers, they think that a petition is a portal, a device given graciously by the state so people can air their grievances or whatever. And it's just another example of a shining liberal democracy that we live in. And it's not at all, it's a total lie. So that's got 3 million signatures, the digital ID one. And I can guarantee you absolutely nothing will happen. Do you remember when Keir Starmer was told, how many millions did that get to? Remember about a year ago? Was it less? Yeah, about a year ago, where it got something like, 9 million signatures or something like that? That Keir Starmer, there needs to be another general election, blah, 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 and all of this. And then Keir Starmer just went on Good Morning Britain or whatever show it was and just went, we don't need to. There's no mandate. There's no kind of authority that petitions have. They're nothing. They have no binding manner to them whatsoever. So we can just, whatever, don't care. They've got 100 million signatures. Has no legal effect upon us. And he just dismissed it there and there on live TV, and that was the end of it. And I said at that time, that's it. That's absolute guarantee that these petitions do nothing. But people still go and sign the petitions and all of this and think that something's happening. But it shows that we're putting pressure on the government. The government do not care. They are not interested in these particular issues. They have an agenda, and all government is, it's just a person that is put in charge to carry out the agenda of the state or the world globalist plan. That's it. That's all it is. They're just a manager of, right, here's your job, Keir Starmer. Here's your job, Boris Johnson. Your job is to implement the agenda from the state. That's it. That's all it is. They're just different management styles. That's all it is.
Or you're going to have digital ID. And they say, no, it's not mandatory. We're not going to fine you. Yet they say, like, hey, you can't get a job if you want to work in the UK. You have to have digital ID, but it's not mandatory. And those completely contradict each other, basically. And like 3 million people are signing this signature saying, don't introduce digital ID. And Keir Starmer's up here just still talking about it, still trying to introduce it. Like, what good is a leader that doesn't listen to its people? Do you want to say anything?
No, I'm pretty much the same. I would agree with everything you said. That yeah, like the whole so it's the parliamentary petition that it's meant to be a thing that the government brought in. That so many people sign it, they're meant to debate it. And Keir Starmer has come out saying that they're not going to debate it in Parliament, even though it's reached the limit of signatures. So that's just like straight up ignoring the electorate, ignoring the people that voted him in, and almost to a point tyranny. So yeah, I just fully agree with everything you said, really.
Well, Nigel Farage actually said he's going to oppose it. Not that I support reform, I'm more of a Green and your party person myself, but Farage said, like, hey, first thing I'm going to do is turn off digital ID. So there's that, I guess. I think a lot of us do want to be against it because the only real motivation for digital ID is to have control over people. And we've seen it in 1984, we've seen it over in China. Surveillance and censorship is the first step to being able to just control people in like an authoritative state.
But no one will be anonymous.
Yeah, true, yeah, no one's anonymous.
That's the aim. You have to remember, Tony Blair tried to put this in. Was it 2002, 2003?
I've seen a video where Tony Blair, he's actually like part of the company that stands to make a lot of money off of this. So Tony Blair's all for it.
His son's company is going to implement everything.
So yeah, Tony Blair currently does stand to make a load of money if this actually goes ahead. So of course he's going to be all for it, which I think is potentially one of the main driving factors for Keir Starmer doing it, because at the end of the day, Starmer is more of a Blairite than say obviously the previous leader Jeremy Corbyn was. When you said earlier about like other parties doing it, as far as I see, I think Reform do it. As much as I don't want to give Reform, clearance, because I don't. But as far as I can see, they're against it as well. But then it's a whole thing of. Reform get elected, they want to give tax credits to obviously the mega wealthy, and Nigel Farage actually works for a company that helps millionaires hide their funds. So all these like working class people that think Reform are the party for them, when Nigel Farage works for a company that helps millions hide their tax.
It's going to be the great twist on this, right? So Farage has said quite clearly that he is against digital ID. If Farage becomes the next prime minister, right? You know what the twist will be? This is like when Trump said, I'm the president of peace, never started a new war, all of this, right? And then within the first few months of his presidency, he's bombing Iran, something that's never been done, right, before by America, right? He's bombing Iran, right? That's like the great twist, right? The great twist with this is that if Farage gets in, I won't be shocked. I'm not saying that he will, but I won't be shocked if he introduces digital ID. That to me will basically again prove that this state, this whole idea of a Western democracy that we live in is a total illusion. Totally. I was watching Rise Above the other day. I don't know if you know Rise Above, guys, and they were talking about the Chinese social credit score and all that. And there was a guy that called in. They had a call-in show, and one of the guys one of the viewers that called in, like, he's married to a Chinese woman, and one of the provinces in China where supposedly this digital Chinese social credit score is, he called up and said, yeah, I go to that province because I'm married to a Chinese woman, and we go to their parents' house, and I told them about the Chinese credit in the province that apparently has this social credit score, and they have no idea what they're talking about. As in to say that there is no Chinese social credit score in this particular province. They don't know what the guy tried to explain to them that through obviously his wife, interpreting like the Chinese, what do you think of the Chinese credit score? They don't know what he's talking about. I think a lot of this stuff now is just Western propaganda. Now, I'm not saying that, oh yeah, I'm all favor of the Chinese Communist Party and all of that, but I think a lot of it is basically Oceania versus Eurasia stuff, again from 1984. And there's in to say that the propaganda from both sides are just all lies. And in the 1984 novel, it's kind of revealed that the actual bombings that are occurring on Airstrip 1 are actually being done by the Big Brother government, i.e. their own government. Like how, when I had David Clues on the show last week, I was saying that all of these stabbings, and there's been more since as well, as I said there would be, because they're ramping up the civil war thing, is that I believe that the state, the UK state, is purposely releasing these dangerous criminals onto the public, because apparently, again, they just we've accidentally let this dangerous, violent criminal on the streets. And I think they're doing this on purpose. They're facilitating these attacks to occur. Because I just can't believe that all of this is happening consecutively. And also, none of these attackers have any motive. They've just, for some strange reason, they've just gotten up one day and they've just gone, hey, I'm just going to go on a stabbing spree. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry, I don't believe. Oh, well, some of them are mad. Some of them, like David was saying, well, it's mathematical pride. No, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I think that something is very dodgy about this. This is like the example I used was the Omar bombing in 1998. Is that MI6 had successfully installed a MI6 agent at the top brass of the real IRA, and they knew that the real IRA was planning to bomb, plans to release to let that bomb explode, and MI6 allowed it to occur, which killed a few people. So the UK state allowed a bomb to go off in their territory in order to facilitate a greater agenda, that being we need more security, we need more tougher laws. This is where the whole where is it, the UK press card comes from. It was introduced into the 90s, the UK press card. Before, if you were a journalist, you didn't need a UK press card. And the excuse they used was that, it's because of the IRA. So now we need state-approved journalists. The state gets to determine who is a journalist and who isn't a journalist, which totally eliminates the whole fundamental idea of freedom of the press. As in, the state doesn't get to determine who a journalist is, but now we have UK press cards. So if they're willing to do the Omar bombing less than 30 years ago, was that 25 years ago? 24 years ago? But if they were willing to do that, and where people died, if they were willing to do that 24 years ago, then is it so unbelievable that they would allow dangerous criminals out purposely? Maybe do something to them whilst in prison? I don't know. Some sort of, people talk about MK Ultra and all this sort of stuff. I don't know. I mean, I saw like a recent documentary. So you watch it on YouTube about people who have seen the film The Men Who Stare at Goats, and that's actually based on a true story, unbelievably. Obviously, where the US government were spending taxpayers' money on basically trying to create psychic soldiers where they can walk through walls, they can stare at goats and just kill them instantly. Like they're actually, but MK Ultra, the Guantanamo Bay, is basically essentially a laboratory. So anyone that's sent to Guantanamo Bay is basically used as guinea pigs for their psychotic, insane test ideas that they have. The US military. So they guess all these people are used as guinea pigs in some way, that's where the whole. Remember when it was revealed with those where in Guantanamo Bay they were shaming the prisoners and making them walk around naked and have bags over their head and all that. That was apparently a part of some kind of weird psychological experiment. That's never really been truly understood why they did it. I can imagine all that stuff is going on in these prisons, as mad as that sounds. And I don't know, man. I just don't believe the narrative of what's being shown to me that whoops, it was an accident. Oh, we just accidentally released these violent criminals. Oh, like we'll put people away for tweets for 2 years for saying some nasty things from tweets. But the violent criminals, yeah, because we're running out of rooms in the prison, we'll let out the violent criminals and we'll put in people who have said some hurty words on Twitter or Facebook. It's just whoops. No, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I do not believe it.
And then Nigel Farage is going to bring in extra tax cuts for all his friends, and they just refuse to listen to it. The only thing that Reform voters like actually think is the second Reform get elected, the next day all the migrants will be kicked out. Like, it's not going to happen at all. And go look at other Reform policies beyond.
That ain't going to happen. That is a fairy tale stuff. People think of like, oh, remigration. It ain't going to happen. That is a fairy tale story. Because really think about that. Really think about how that would actually work. And the best example I've seen, because this is the reality of it. What you'll get is Children of Men, Bexhill-on-Sea, right? Is that to get that kind of place where they're remigrating people and all of this, is that you will have to go through a Bexhill-on-Sea kind of scenario where basically you will have to turn towns or whatever into basically like Escape from New York. You have to turn the whole city into basically a prison, a migrant camp until they can be reshipped. Because the manpower, think about it, the manpower of having to repatriate people, how that's going to happen. It would need this kind of thing to happen. And I don't want my country becoming like this. It will make it actually worse. More laws, more armed people creates more crime. You ever notice that? Isn't that funny, isn't it? We create, back when there was less laws and less paramilitary police, things were better, weren't they? And now we have more laws than ever and everything's more dangerous than ever. So we keep, so it's yeah, that's, I mean, you know what, it might happen. I could possibly see this becoming a reality, but it won't do what's said on the tin. It won't just simply magically just transport people out. It will be holding cells. It will be basically Escape from New York towns and cities that will be turned into basically this sort of crap. It's just not gonna happen. It's a fairy tale. That's why I don't, with people like Steve Laws and all of that. It's a fairy tale. It's just not. I remember Nick Griffin on saying the exact same thing. It's fairy tale politics. That's just, it's whether Steve Laws is knowingly he's doing this, he's doing the exact same thing that politicians do when they want your vote. They'll just tell you what you want to hear. Hey, we're gonna repatriate, we're gonna remigrate these people. You're gonna, oh God, yes. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, what's it? Before I go, I'm gonna head off now. Where is it? I wanted to talk about just quickly, right? That this guy. So we had Remembrance Day. How do I get out of this? We had obviously. Bloody hell! How many windows have I got open? We had obviously November, and obviously this happened after I was on air. I just wanted to give my 2 thoughts on it. That this veteran here is an absolute legend for saying what he said. He went on Good Morning Britain. He probably had no idea what he was going to say. I said, it's, you know the phrase, all wars are bankers' wars? You hear that all the time. All wars are bankers' wars. And they say, what? And what ethnicity are usually associated with bankers? That's, you know, think about like the pro-Palestine March people and the pro-Jeremy Corbyn people, is that they never say what they really want to say, and they always kind of dilute it, don't they? Well, all wars are bankers' wars. No, and I was thinking, all wars are bankers' wars. And I was like thinking, what who are known to be bankers? Like that's what they mean, probably, isn't it? Yeah, but they just don't want to. They don't want to go that far. We need to move. I said to them, we need to move away from this World War One and Two porn. It has stagnated our Western society, and despite tens of millions of our own people being sacrificed, the number people really remember is 6 million, again, from a certain ethnic group, again, highlighting how the narrative of World War II is controlled. This guy, when he went on that and just said, it really isn't worth it, it isn't. And you will get people say that multiculturalism, which again, if you trace to where that comes from, the whole Kalergi plan, Richard Kalergi, all of these people who said that, is that they're usually at least Zionistic people. You understand that multiculturalism, as much as people like Sadiq Khan will say, oh yeah, it's a great thing, is that multiculturalism isn't designed to work. Once people realize that, it's not designed to be what how can I say it, that sort of regressive NPCs would say, is that everyone's just meant to get together and live in harmony and everything's going to be wonderful. That's not what multiculturalism is designed to do. If you understand the whole Kalergi plan thing, is that it's designed to actually cause chaos within countries. And then because these countries are then in chaos, everyone's fighting each other, and they don't have their sights set on the correct kind of, how can I say it, the correct kind of path in a way, because we're all too busy fighting each other. And that's why I did used to like the whole lockdown march, just because it just kind of suspended all of that, and people started to like, get along. Yeah, again, I'm not one of these kind of hippie kind of people, but there was an understanding that yes, we're all different, but we have a united goal, and it sort of suspended all of the normal BS that that whether it was Black Lives Matter, whether it was patriotic alternative, that was all just suspended for a while, and it was just like, right, we know what we need to do, and that was the only good thing about it. I thought was that it didn't matter what race or nationality or religion or anything like that, is that everyone had a united goal. And I think that needs to happen again, and go, look, we know we have differences. There's going to be no repatriation. Even when Nick Griffin came on, he doesn't even want that. But there does need to be a conversation and an understanding. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can stay in the country and all that and all of this. There's no issue with that. You have these parts, whatever, and we have our parts and all, but there's none of this, forced integration, because that's just going to cause conflict. It's a good idea, but like sort of the communist ideal is that it works on paper, but it doesn't work out in reality. So did he realize he was fighting for the bankers? No, this guy generally probably was suckered into it. Again, I saw a picture where he was serving. Obviously, this guy's near 100 years old. He was obviously a very young man when he served in the actual conflict. So he probably knew nothing, as we all did when we were young. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this guy was elected for doing that. This is the other thing as well, is that you have to understand that our government, that government in general, really is just your enemy in life, right? This is also what Thomas Massey tweeted the other day. Again, it's from Blaze Media, but I've seen it in other rags as well. Just happened to see the story. Another reminder: the state is not your friend. Stop honoring these traitors. So obviously remember Jan 6. When, again, people like Alex Jones and Trump and even Nick Fuentes, they were sort of leading that, how can I say it, the stop the steal. Remember, before Biden was sworn in as president after the very dodgy election, which I do think was rigged against Trump. Trump was basically chastised for not being pro-Israel enough, I think, ultimately. It's similar with people getting excited about Trump apparently is going to sue the BBC for the doctored footage of him saying, we got to go fight. We got to go. They changed it to BBC, and the Director General and a couple of others now have stood down. But the reality is that's not why they stood down. That's being used as a get out, as an exit route for these people, as an excuse as to why they're going. Why they're going is because the BBC has not been again favorable upon Israel, and because of Israel's massive power structure, power influence upon this country and many others. That's the reason why those people are going. They're just using the Trump thing as an excuse. Former Capitol Police officer is a forensic match for Jan 6 pipe bomber. So there was during that whole all of that was going on at the capital city during Jan 6. You also had a pipe bomb go off. And it's looking more and more likely that it was a police officer, as in undercover. And this is why I say we stop saying that there are good coppers and all of this. These people you have to automatically see as your enemy. They're former Capitol Police officer, forensic match for pipe bomber, sources say. No, not going to place. Continue without support. A computer program that compared the bomb suspects to that of Shawnee, is it Kernoff, produced a 94% match. Forensic analysis of the female former U.S. Capitol officers is it Gate? Is a 94 to 98% match to the unique stride of the long-sought Jan 6 pipe bomber suspect, according to the Blaze News investigation confirmed by several intelligence sources. A source that has... Oh, here we go. I hate Blaze. Blaze is another Zio bloody rag. It's got all Gavin McGinnis in it and... What's his name? Changed my mind guy. What's his name again? Stephen Crowder. A source close to congressional investigation of Jan 6 additionally told Blaze News evidence had emerged recently that pointed toward law enforcement possibly being involved in the planting of the pipe bombs. So, like I said earlier, with the whole when MI6 had infiltrated the upper echelons of the real IRA, they again did it. They allowed the bombing to occur. People got killed, and you're seeing the same here again. Is where the US, the supposed land of the free, where you have people that are usually honored in some way. Oh, you're a police officer, thank you. Oh, you're in the military, thank you for your service, sir. Is that they're usually the ones causing the problems. A source close to the congressional investigation, Blaze, that being evidence has emerged recently pointing out towards law enforcement possibly being involved in planting the pipe bombs. They were effing in on it. The software algorithm analyzes walking patterns, parameters including flexion, knee pad, hip extension, speed, step length, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Matched to the bomb suspect shown on video of that of January the 5th of 2021. The veteran analyst who ran the analysis for Blaze News said that based on visual observations the program had struggled with, he personally pegged the match to close to 98%. Kernoff, who was Capitol Police officer for 4.5 years, left the department in mid-2021 for a security detail at the CIA. So she was a copper for 4.5 years for the Capitol Police Service, whatever, Capitol Police Department. And then after she done the bomb, allegedly, possibly done this pipe bomb, Jan 6, this act of terrorism, she was then given a job in the CIA. It's almost as if perhaps the CIA visited her and said, hey, if you do this for us, we'll give you a job in the CIA. Yeah, this also fuels the whole Charlie Kirk thing about Tyler Robinson that they say that this guy was actually recruited by the CIA, and basically his kind of test assignment. People ever seen the film The Kingsman or anything like that? They're like, this is kind of similar to this. Is where they give you kind of like a little job or whatever. Well, say a little job, a certain task to do, and then if you do it relatively successful, you get to then be a CIA operative. That's actually one of the theories with regarding Charlie Kirk. This guy Tyler Robinson, who was very highly intelligent. If you look at all of his SAT scores and all of this, is that this guy was super intelligent. This would be the perfect guy that the CIA would want. And there's a belief that he was tasked to do what he did, but he didn't. But he didn't actually fire. The whole thing about him firing the rifle is actually a kind of red herring. It's a Shaggy Dog story. Really, what people see as that hit on Charlie Kirk's neck is actually an exit wound, not an enter wound, and it was really from somewhere else. You know, this is like the grassy knoll kind of stuff, right? But it was actually done somewhere else, and this guy was just used. Hey, you got to run from here to there. You know, throw the rifle in there. Put the scope. You know, make sure you assemble the rifle correctly. Obviously, he messed up by putting the scope on wrong, which makes the shot even more like near impossible for him to do. And he's done it. So this Capitol police officer was basically, it seems as though she was possibly given a task, and then if you do it, we will let you into the CIA. Possibly. Sources told the Blaze News. CIA spokesman Liz Lyons stated that the subject worked in campus security. Kernos residents in Alexandria, Vancouver, is it, I assume, VA, appeared to be under the watch of law enforcement officers on Friday night. Blaze News editor-in-chief Christopher Bedford was pulled over by the local police after stopping to observe the home. He was then allowed to leave. So you think it's right, what a lot of these people, they promise these things and then they just end up being fool guys. Like the CIA will lie to them. Hey, if you do this task, you've seen that film? What was it? With Jeff Bridges and Tim, and it's called Something Avenue. What's it called? There's people know what I'm talking about, and it's basically how they kind of set this guy up to do bombings in a building. Did someone know Arlington Road or something? Arlington Avenue or something like that it's called? Let's watch the trailer for that, because I can't remember. These are films that I need to rewatch, because you go, oh, Sean, it's just a film. It's just a film. These Hollywood films, right, they are part of that propaganda machine. And they tell you, what's it called? Arlington Road? No. Yeah, it is Arlington Road. These, like, before I get onto this, right, I've not actually watched this. Let's actually watch the trailer first. Let's watch this trailer. All right.
In an instant, they were gone forever. More and more of us are joining the ranks of a resistance. Average, normal, educated people.
Brad, it's dinner time. Brady invited him over for dinner.
Having a 10-year-old now. Cheryl, this is Brooke.
Hi.
Brooke, Cheryl.
It's really nice to meet you too.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a structural engineer.
He had this blueprint. It was an office building. It's taking forever. I already told me it was a mall. Why would you lie? I've got a possible name change. The death certificate, what does it say? He's changed his name.
To the name of a person who died the day before?
Yeah, why?
You do it to hide the person you were.
Hi, neighbor. His name is Oliver Lang.
I didn't know you taught a course in terrorism. Michael, that's a pretty frightening subject.
It deals with extremist groups.
Seems they got one everywhere.
You know what's funny about it? I'm just going to ruin the ending to it. Is that obviously the film portrays this guy as like as a psycho terrorist guy that must have found out that Jeff Bridges is doing these lectures at the university about the psychology of terrorists, right? And that's what the film portrays. And then this nutcase, Tim Robbins, what's his name? About where he lives, and it's basically it's like a stalker thing. The twist at the end is that this guy was actually CIA. This psycho terrorist is actually a CIA agent or something like that, or an FBI. Because the CIA are just full of psychos, like Mossad. Remember that thing I showed on Mossad on the 60-minute interview where they got a Mossad agent on? He had a balaclava on, and they had changed his voice to hide his voice. And he's just the Mossad agent is just talking like an absolute psycho, just saying that, yeah, we exploded those pages. We even exploded them at the funeral for these people that we killed, just to send another warning to them. They're psychos. So the Hollywood machine, it is all part of that. It's all one kind of blob in a way. Like the intelligence services are connected with Hollywood is just a propaganda machine. And they will sometimes tell you, oh, yeah, we did this. This is like the whole thing with like even the moon landings. When I think 8 years after, in '69, they released a film called Capricorn 1. And it basically just told you how they did it. But the only difference is that in the film, they're going to Mars, not the moon. But it's the exact same sort of story. So there's all of that. There's all. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So what's interesting about this as well is that there is a film. Let's see if I can find it. There is. I've watched this film before as well. It's called Snake Eyes. It's a really bad Nicolas Cage film, right? And have you heard about this film from 1998 called Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage? There's an assassination of a politician that gets shot in the neck at a boxing match on the 10th of September called Charles Kirkland. So I think Charlie Kirk was killed on the 10th of September as well. So in the film, this guy called Charles Kirk, not Charlie Kirk, but Charles Kirkland, is assassinated on the 10th of September. The name of the boxer is Tyler the Executioner. You've got a guy called Tyler Robinson who actually apparently killed Charlie Kirk. Within the film, it's mentioned the murdered politician was involved with Israel and Palestine relations. Let's just see this a bit. I've not actually watched this. Let's have a think of how long it is. I'm going to head off. What's this?
This is just a quick list of parallels between the movie and the Charlie Kirk assassination. If there's interest, I'll make a better video today. Watch the whole thing, because there's one thing nobody else is mentioning at the moment. Following a significant news event that dominated headlines, social media users have begun drawing connections between real-world circumstances and a 1998 political thriller starring Nicolas Cage. The movie in question, Snake Eyes, directed by Brian De Palma, features Cage as Detective Rick Santoro, who investigates an assassination at a boxing match. The victim in the film is a character named Charles Kirkland, portrayed by Joel Fabiani. Social media platforms, particularly X, formerly Twitter, have seen an uptick in posts highlighting perceived similarities between the film's plot and recent events. Users have specifically noted name similarities. The fictional victim shares a remarkably similar name to the real-world figure. Method details. Both incidents reportedly involve similar circumstances. Character connections. A character named Tyler appears in the film as one of the boxers at the match where the fictional assassination occurs. Date speculation. The boxing match in Snake Eyes is set on September 10th, as we can see on this billboard shown in the movie. At one point in the movie, we even get a long-haired, bearded blonde guy celebrating inappropriately. Like this guy. Remember? Even more bizarre, users have identified identical hand gestures, a distinctive downward-facing triangle formed with fingertips touching, appearing in the film, in photos of Kirk, and even in images of Donald Trump during various public appearances. As more people dive into frame-by-frame analysis of the 24-year-old film, the list of parallels continues to grow.
Now, is
The Truman Show is about Truman.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Is it simply that obviously Hollywood has produced so many films throughout its existence that the laws of probability is that it will produce a film at some point where it will have connotations to the real life assassination of Charlie Kirk, just because there's obviously been millions and millions and millions of films that Hollywood have produced probably at this point. And it's just by the laws of probability that there will be a film created where this is like the whole what is it, give 100 monkeys a typewriter for till the end of time and they will eventually produce the works of Shakespeare. Is it that, or is Israel controlled Hollywood signaling something here that this is that little wink and a smile? Yeah, this is what we did. You know, is it that? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But this is why I'm saying the whole point where I've sort of gone on to that thing is that these the state operatives, where it was fact that the Omar bombing was allowed to occur by MI6, by the UK state, which killed people. And there's probably other examples I can't think of the top of my head that have occurred as well. I'm sure people in the chat will remind me that have occurred, and they just allowed it to happen. And now with this Jan 6 thing, that is possibly going to be revealed that it was actually the state, a member of the state security services, whether that be the police or the CIA, allowed it to occur. That will probably eventually come out too. So back to the Serenity says, Back to the Future, coincidences, and 9/11. I don't know that. I don't know about that. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head off. I've actually gone over a lot more longer than I thought. Thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe to Unprecedented TV on X and YouTube, and also my own personal Delivering Liberty YouTube channel, where I do produce independent content. So, yeah, Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, I think I personally think you properly look into the whole Stanley Kubrick thing. I do genuinely believe that he was killed for revealing too much, and purposely his last film, Eyes Wide Shut, was purposely then made into a really crap film by Hollywood movie producers, so it would just be kind of never remembered because it's a really boring film. Eyes Wide Shut. There's too many unnecessary shots. Like there's a whole 2 minutes of Tom Cruise just walking down a hallway, can easily be cut. You only need like a few seconds of that. You don't need literally 2 minutes of that. Him just walking down a long corridor. It's pointless. So they've purposely, and they cut out what they have cut. So they kept crap in, and the stuff that they have cut out, which was a more longer extended scene of the Freemasonry sex party weird thing going on, that apparently was cut by 28 minutes. So there was more involved in that. And there's a thing at the end. I remember the twist. The ending was of the film, that what's released, the crap that's released, is that it's just about a failing marriage, and at the end, they kind of hint that they will stay together, but will kind of, I don't know, it's just a really bad film. But what really I think I kind of worked out was that what it really was is that they will basically remain in a sham marriage and go to all of these sex parties where they get to have sex with other people at the sacrifice of their daughter. So they will sacrifice their daughter in order to, because in the film, Tom Cruise gets involved with these shady people at that party of question. It's all to do with that. But the release, it focuses less on that and just focuses on a failing, boring marriage between Kidman and Tom Cruise. But really what they did in the end was they sacrificed their daughter in order to keep their sham marriage alive and join the club, basically. Because you see these two creepy old men take away the daughter at the end in the background of the film. And they were the two same creepy guys who were at the weird party. Anyway, I'm gonna hear people say the McCanns. I don't know. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna head off. Thank you all for watching. Have a good afternoon and evening, and I'll see you again. I'll be doing a show for UNN on Wednesday. It's not tomorrow though, but the following Wednesday in the evenings as well. So take care, guys, and have a good evening. See you soon.